Peace and love, family. Welcome to another powerful discussion with your sister, Dr. Maat. I have with me tonight our esteemed elder, Baba Bavrudi, and I have Baba IMHOTEP in the building tonight, family. And so please look, before we get started with our discussion, please share this discussion, thumb up the video. But tonight, I really want you to share, because we are trying to drum up support for Baba IMHOTEP and the Kamoyo Shu Africana Saturday Academy. And so, Baba, you were really like speaking behind stage about Baba Imhotep and his wife, Mama Ife, and talking about the work that they have been doing for decades in Baltimore, and not even just Baltimore, right? Like not even just Baltimore, just the work that they've been doing on behalf of us. And so I just want you to speak to what you know of about Baba Imhotep and why the community should be supporting him.
And I'll start with the latest, which is something that you just mentioned. I just saw him about a week and a half ago. And I was trying to explain to him the importance of his work nationally and globally. And the fact that, I had to learn late that more people are watching than you know. It's like the tip of the iceberg, the people who you see, the people who you talk to, the impact of what you're doing. And NEI was speaking about that just last night, in terms of the impact that those people who are serious workers for us have on a majority that they don't know, they don't understand, the work that they're doing, because they're so busy trying to do the work. All they can see many times is what hasn't been done yet.
Yes.
And I've been watching Brother Imhotep for a long time. They brought me to Baltimore a couple of times. They brought NEI to Baltimore to speak. And these things aren't required. It's like a statement of respect, but our respect for them is enormous in terms of the efforts that they're doing individually, collectively, as a community, trying to create some substance out of this vision that we have as frontliners. I've read, every book that he's written. I've read her book, read their son's writing. Because it's that important, and you want to make sure that you see in that work us. You want to see that vision in that work. Any initiative they have, and this may sound a little bit like a commercial, but any initiative that they have is something that we're going to support. I can't imagine either one of them, Imhotep or Ifa, doing anything that goes against what we're trying to accomplish as a people, setting the standard, setting the model. Not only this is. So I guess I could talk forever. This is one of those excellent models of complementarity at work for us, and everybody isn't in a position to do that. Everybody can't do that, but everybody should have a vision of that.
Yes, absolutely.
And the vision that we have should be of solid models. It should be of people who are putting this to work. The relationships aren't easy. That technically we can argue they're not supposed to be, but relationships aren't easy. You're trying to save African people at the same time that you're trying to develop a relationship, at the same time that you're trying to rear warriors, not just your own biological ones, but the rest of them in the community, as well as the other brothers and sisters in the community. So if I didn't know anything about it, and I've sent in my vote just got finished complimenting his son, who kind of peeked into the Air Force. Just got finished complimenting him at the Bakasem Sumsun. If you have this caliber of warrior behind a project for the education of African people, children, adults, what have you, and they've already been educators for years, when you have this initiative that's supposed to bring it into, or is designed to bring it into a concrete reality where it can do the work, then it needs to be supported. I've voted every day.
Ashe.
I ask him to remind me every day, because I'm like everybody else, plates full, but I want to make sure that this gets done every day. I don't want a day to miss, be skipped, because then I'll be upset. Okay, yeah, I could have voted. That's a vote that's gone. So I seriously hope, I strongly support this and strongly advocate that warriors or would be warriors or want to be warriors or people who just want to do something constructive. We continuously talk about and over and over and over again, organizations and things that we don't support, they're gone. The organizations and the people who are trying to do the work, they flounder, they fail because there's not enough community support. So here's the opportunity. I mean, it takes me approximately what about maybe a minute?
Yes, less than a minute.
Yeah.
Less than a minute to vote.
And the only reason it takes an extra minute because they got to send you the email and you have to click, okay, I did this. Other than that, you'd be gone, in 30 seconds. All you type in your email or cut and paste it. Yeah. This is not a difficult request for something that has the potential to be enormous. These are models. It's not just what him and Ife are doing. It's not just what they're doing. What they will be doing with this is the other hundreds of people who are looking to see if this works and how it's going to work so that they can figure out how to do it for themselves, so that they can create something that is of a similar caliber of this for the children, their children, and the children in the community, and the other adults, because it doesn't, of course, we know it can't stop with the children. You have adults who are connected to those children, which means those adults have to have access to information which will allow them to assist you in the process of bringing up their children to be warriors. So it's not. And if I had to could make one point about this beyond the fact that we, not just I, Enia and I both support it, knowing that this is an initiative on people who are seasoned in working for African people. Are seasoned in the building and the supporting of warriors on the front line. This initiative is a model that can be looked at by anybody as a means to do this. And I don't think it's going to be, knowing about IMHOTEP, it's not going to be complicated. Simple, straight to the point where the Malcolm said, make it plain. That's exactly what is done there. And that's one of the reasons, I mean, in this respect, and I know I'm not of the caliber of Baba Hannibal Afrique, but in this respect, it reminds me of him where, he's saying, I don't want to hear your theories. I want to see your work. And for me, that's critical. People who spend a lot of time, talking, and we need talkers, people who are skilled at moving us in the correct direction through conversation. But I'm most impressed in terms of the frontline work.
Absolutely.
With those who would just step in and do it. They see a child sitting there struggling with the homework. They don't sit there, pull out their camera and walk over to the child and sit down and pull out a pencil and show them. No, they just immediately go to do it. They're not looking for recognition. They see that this needs to be solved. I mean, even if it's just the selfishness of, I want my son, my daughter to grow up in an African world where they can be themselves, and I need a community to do that. Even if it's that kind of selfishness, that's good. That'll work. But the model has to be established. The model has to be done. We like to think of, Akabin as a model of what people can do. And I've seen people take this and take it to its next natural level. So I'm very, I'm as I was saying before, even though I'm not old enough to be his grandfather, to me, it's me like the pride that a grandfather or a father would take, sitting in the cut somewhere, smiling, knowing that this person has got it, that the work that, I did as dad or granddad is going to continue, and I can go sit, someplace and chill, even though, of course, we don't do that. But to be able to see these initiatives, if you could feel inside of me when workers are taking over and just doing what needs to be done, the feeling that's inside of me is I don't know, incomprehensible, I guess. It's not describable. So whenever there's an initiative like this by someone who is of, and I keep saying of this caliber, because most warriors aren't of this caliber. You know, most warriors don't have the drive in this particular area, you know, to do this. And I, of course, am in education, so that's kind of like, you know, what I favor. So when I see someone in that area who knows what they're doing, who knows that they're African, who has family, who's working toward the empowerment of African people, who doesn't even realize how selfless they are in getting this work done, I take a lot of pride in that. And when I say Baba Imhotep's name, and it's not very seldom that I say it on a fairly regular basis to
Beautiful.
folks who are around. I say his name because they need to know this is a model. This is somebody who's doing the work. Okay, you want to be African? There you go. You know, watch what he's doing. See what he's doing. See how he's doing it. And try to find your way in whatever your area of specialization and whatever you love, whatever your talents are, to do that, to be that. So yeah, we and I know I can speak for NEI because his name is not foreign to our conversation. I know that I speak for her when I say we definitely support, and we hope that many more people support this effort, and that he's able to do this work. And even if this didn't come through, which I'm not saying in any way that it won't, I know
Absolutely.
he's not going to skip a beat. You know, we're on to the next initiative to make that happen.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Baba, I'm sorry, Bobby Imhotep, did you want to chime in, Bobby Imhotep?
No, you can go in and weigh in.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Baba, I really, these were some strong words coming from you, and, just hearing what you said about, Baba Imhotep, and like I said, just hearing you say, hey, he has my vote, he has my support. That's major, because, the whole community, we all love you and we value you. We value your opinion and we hold you in high regard. And so, family, you heard it from Baba Baruti. Baba Baruti said, look, he has my support. And so, family, we need to support him. Please, family, like the video, thumb up the video, share the video. Let me show you how you can vote. I've already dropped the link in the chat. Okay, you come right here, click on the link, family, and I'll drop it in the chat again. Here's the link, family. So this is what Baba was talking about. He said he did this every day. Every day he did this. So you come here, you click vote now. When you click vote now, and it's going to ask you to enter your email address. So you enter your email address as such. And then, fam, you click on the submit button. So then it says one more step for your vote to be counted. To help stop voting fraud, you will receive an email shortly with a link to verify your email address. Click on the link for your vote to count. So I'm going to hit the close button. And then I'm going to go right here and open up my email address. I have nothing to hide. Come right here. It says email verified voting. You click this black box that says validate vote. Please let me know in the chat. Just put voted. If you just followed the process that I followed, please type in the chat. And Baba Imhotep is looking at the count. So don't front. Don't front, y'all. Don't front. Okay. If you didn't vote, just don't say it. But if you voted in the chat, just say I voted. And so, Baba, before you leave, and we're not going to hold you long, Baba, Baba Imhotep shared with me that you're preparing for a lecture. So you just wanted to come in, say a few words and leave. And so we won't hold you. But Baba, I really want people to understand the benefits of African-centered education. So could you briefly break down what a Eurocentric education will produce versus an African-centered education?
It's interesting. This is a quick aside. NEI and I are having to prepare for a commencement address from a school that was started in New York. And the sister who started the school, she was one of my evening students here before she left Atlanta. And she's done a beautiful job over the last decade. But exactly the same question was what they asked to be addressed for the commencement.
Wow.
Exact same question. minus the Eurocentric part, but it's still you need that contrast in order to understand better.
Absolutely.
So when you it's for me, people need to approach this with the question of what are we trying to create? What kind of warriors are we trying to develop? What kind of warriors in training are we trying to rear, to school, if you will? And that, of course, tells everything. The end result, what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a sovereign African nation. Period. Globally. Period. That's the end result. And in order to do that, we have to do that. John Henrik Clarke, one sacrificial generation or more, and we have to let them know what we are not. Who we are not, who we do not behave. If they were older, then I would say, well, get you a copy of Machiavelli's The Prince and get you a copy of Teachings of Ptahhotep, and read the Teachings of Ptahhotep first, and then read Machiavelli's book, and you'll understand at a very good level, if you sit there and you think about it, the difference between the way Europeans think and the way Africans think from the heart, not from the politics, not from the voices on the idiot box, but from the heart, how they operate. And that's not what we want our children to do. We want our children to be dedicated to the upliftment of African people. And I'm not talking about dedicated to the upliftment of African people into European beds. I'm talking about dedicated to the upliftment of African people so they empower African people, so they build something. But in order to do that, you have to know who you are. Okay, you can't create anything African if you don't know what it means to be African. So if I'm teaching you how to be what it means to be Eurocentric, which is in everything that they do, I mean, what it means to be African is in everything I do. So everything I write, if you're reading something that I wrote, if you're reading something that IMHOTEP wrote, you're going to see African. That's the politics behind it. That's the framework out of which it is written, and you can't avoid that. So I'm reading something by a Eurocentric or European thinker, then the foundation of the philosophical foundation of what they write out of is Eurocentric. So part of the process is to teach them what it means to be African first. A lot of people are so excited about Eurocentric European classics, they end up teaching the children those first. So when they read what it means to be African, they're reading it through European eyes. We have to, and that's, of course, I say as backward, we have to teach them who we are first. We have to get them to understand who they are first, and they're not afraid of it. They're not afraid of it at all. You start talking to young African folk about who they are and what they're about, and you have their attention. You have their full attention. They want to know, because they know that something's wrong with this. They know that they know it. Something is just like they know when you love them and when you don't. They know that something is wrong with this. It's just easier for them just to sort of get along and go along with it, because they will come out feeling like fools if they don't, because they're dependent upon their peers for recognition. So we have to have those spaces. This immediately goes back to African-centered education, African-centered institutions, African-centered shoelays, African-centered schools, whatever we want to call them. In order for you to teach a child what it means to be African, you can't do that within a Eurocentric setting. European culture and African culture are irreconcilably different. They're not compatible in any way, shape, form, or fashion. One of them is going to dominate. Okay? And in the European world, in the Western world, well, Urugu's mentality, Urugu's writing, Urugu's thinking, Urugu's works will dominate. Even if, you're looking at African stuff, it's still going to come out through European eyes. So we need space where we can teach these children who they are, where we can show them who they are, where they can explore who they are to its fullest. I can fill up. They say, well, you need to have European this, you need to have Japanese, blah, blah, blah. They're going to get that. But I can fill up 12 years worth of a child's life of what it means to be African, and still there will be things that they're not getting yet because I don't have time. So we need settings where they can be immersed completely and totally, comfortably, happily in what it means to be them, where they understand, okay, people aren't just saying I'm genius. People aren't just saying I'm the future. This is evident because I've been given the mission of making African people sovereign, and I know what that takes. And if I've been given that mission, if I've been given the responsibility of that mission, and I know what sovereignty means for African people, I know what Ma'at means for African people, These are heavy definitions for children. That's very, very, those are deep concepts for little ones, even big ones if they haven't necessarily been around it, for them to grasp. Okay. And in order for, just an example of Ma'at, if I can teach them Ma'at, if I can make them understand Ma'at like you are doing with the work that you're doing, Dr. Ma'at, which you're doing that work. If they can understand that, then they can see that this reality is the exact opposite.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I have to tell them what it means to be African. I don't have to show them what they need to create. Okay. If we don't teach our children what it means to be African, when we win, they won't know what to build. They'll simply try to take the skeletal structure, the substructure of European mind, the European reality, and throw some red, black, and green on top of it. And that'll be the extent of it. And everybody will think we've made it. But if you sit down and you teach these children the cold, hard facts, good and bad, about who they are and what we did and where we're trying to go and why we're trying to go there, and the concept of enemy and the concept of evil, okay, and the concept of Yurugu. Okay, and we take the time to do a contrast, okay, with what it means to be African, with the African tradition, with being a warrior, with the righteousness of Ma'at when it's practiced among people who are acting like Africans, who are trying their best to be African. Yes. Okay. Then they'll know, and we won't have to. They don't need to be led by the hand. They just need to be shown the way. Who's leading most of the global revolutions? Over the last 100 years or so, who's on the front line of these revolutions? Not the older folks who have a vested interest in their bank accounts, their houses, what have you.
The youth,
it's the young folks. So you show them to the best of your ability. You can go to sleep at night and say, yeah, I did the best that I could with what I knew. Then you've done the work. I've done everything in my power to show them what it means to be African. To me, that's a major difference. We didn't talk about personalities, but to be the kind of person, just beyond the child, to be the kind of person who is courageous enough to refuse to pass on Eurocentrism to their child is enormous. And what Wade Noble said, if you're not passing on to your child what it means to be who they are, what it means to be African without compromise, then you have no character. You have no character. So the having that situation, being African-centered, teaching children what it means to be African-centered requires a degree of courage and insight that so many of us don't have for fear and ignorance. So that and of course I do need to depart, but I would like to have that as the closing point relative to what Baba IMHOTEP is trying to do, and that's in terms of why we are supporting this with all of our might, and that's because he has the courage. His wife has the courage. His children have the courage. The family around him has the courage, or they wouldn't be there. They would have run. They have the courage to do this. There isn't that fear there. People are going to talk about me. I might get locked up. Okay, because truth is more important than that. Truth is more powerful than that. And for somebody to carry that kind of courage with them on a day-to-day basis, that's a major statement. I might support them even if their politics go against mine. Because that's to me, that's manhood. That's womanhood right there. That's adulthood. To have the courage to prioritize your children so that you are not going to lie to them. That's courage in a reality of liars. in the reality of evil. That's pure courage, and we honor that. So yes, we support him. We support you, Dr. Mott, and everything you
Oh, I
do.
know, Ashe. I
We
appreciate your
support, yeah,
support, Baba. Appreciate your support. You and
absolutely,
Mama, yeah, I do. I truly do.
and we support Robert Himotep. This is Ife and the family, the PLM family, Pan
Yes.
African Liberation Movement. Somebody made me say it all the way out the other day. Pan African Liberation Movement family.
Thank you.
We appreciate what they're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Baba, Madase Pi, I don't know if I pronounced it right because sometimes you correct me.
You know, that'll work. I understand.
That'll work. Yes. So, Madase Pi, Baba, the BB
Yes, yes.
Fahodier, thank you so much
The BB
for coming
Fahodier.
on the platform, Baba. We appreciate your words. We value your words. We
Yes.
value you, and we appreciate your work, Baba.
Yes.
BB Fahodier.
Before much appreciated, Baba.
No problem, warrior.
All right, so Baba, so the elder has spoken. Isn't it something, Baba, when you just when the elders pour into you, it's like it's confirmation. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's affirmation that I'm doing it right. When the elders speak and they give you their support, it's like I'm doing, like it's a difference between your friend, oh, you doing it right. But when the elders speak and they say, hey, I support you, keep up the good work. It just goes a long way, Baba. But I just want you to explain to the people, Kamoyo Shule Africana. Tell the people what that was about. Baba Hemotep talked a lot about you and what you're trying to do, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth. What are we looking at the Kamoyo Shule Africana, Baba?
The first off, as always, I like to just give praise and honor to you for this beautiful platform,
Ashe.
for making this possible. Just being able to do it consistently. I'm always honored to be on the platform.
Always honored to have you, Baba.
So the Kimoyo Shule Africana is going to be a weekend African Centered school operating on Saturdays from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And what I mean by African centered is that it's a school that will center the children within their own African reality. They would begin to learn who they are, where they must go, and where they come from. And within those four domains, they will learn their history, culture, their philosophical worldview, the mythologies, the rituals, the proverbs, the cosmology. They will learn all the things that they would need to impact their beingness as African beings here in the West. Granted, we will deal with the academics. For those who may be wondering, our emphasis on academics is always to assist the child or the student to move him or her beyond what the European may define as being on or beneath grade level. Grade level as defined by European standards in relation to African people is always under our grade level. Let me break that down what I mean. So even if you're going to a European school or Baltimore City Public School and they telling you that your child was on grade level, your child reads on a 5th grade level. In reality, your child was reading under an African standard level.
Oh, yes.
Your child is on grade level mathematically. In reality, your child is under a mathematical African standard. So at the Kimoyo Shule Africana, we will identify that within each child, student, and our emphasis will be to develop and move him or her onto an African standard so that he or she could function well and at a high rate within society in the best interest of African people.
So, Baba, I couldn't agree with you more. And let me go here. Let me bring us back on the screen because you know where I teach, right? And so a lot of the students who come from Africa and the Caribbean, when they come to our universities, they said that our first 2 years in college is equivalent to their last 2 years in high school. Mm-hmm. So before those Caribbean folks and those African folks get over here, they've already been exposed to calculus, like all of those higher mathematics,
Yep.
higher sciences. They've already been exposed to it. So that's why when they get over here to our universities, they excel because they've seen this stuff before. I even know of students who confided in me and they said, Doc, my mother got pregnant, came to America, had me here so that I would be a national, so I would be an American citizen, but took me back to Jamaica so that I could go to school. And then when it was time for me to attend a university, she brought us back. And then we took advantage of the university. And those students, the two people that I'm thinking of right now, they were brother and sisters, and they zoomed through the engineering program. I mean, it was like it was nothing to them. They were already prepared. They've seen the information before, but most importantly, they were trained on how to think, how to critically think and problem solve. And so were a lot of the brothers and sisters that came from Nigeria, Kenya, Ethiopia. A lot of them come over here and they dominate in the universities because their educational system is more advanced than ours. So
Yes.
I agree with you 200%, Baba, about what you're saying. When they say on grade level here, you're behind in those other countries.
Africans are behind. And the catch is like Dr. Bobby E. Wright, in his beautiful book, The Psychopathic Racial Personality, he dealt with a little essay on education. And in a very rhetorical way, he said that if you even ask parents, what do education mean? Most parents couldn't even give you a functional definition. But yet we will say, I am sending my child off to school to get an education. So how do you know your child have come home with an education if you don't even have a functional definition of what education is, right? And therein lies part of the problem that we're dealing with, right? We don't have a concept of education as it pertains to us as a people. So whatever our children come back home with, in our minds, they have received an education if they can regurgitate. And if the report card says A, B, C, or whatever, right? That's no indication of growth and development. A report card is no indication of growth and development. You cannot capture what one truly understands on a report card, right? So we make a mistake because our children can regurgitate. That's rote knowledge, right? A monkey can do that. A parrot can do that, right? That's no indication of any form of true growth and development. And furthermore, it's no true indication of education when you understand what education is really about. So we gotta get out that mindset, and we gotta start thinking like, how can we take control of the education of our children? If you don't have the time to do it yourself, then you must, as a parent, you must partner with an institution that has the best interests of your child at heart, that's going to focus on the African development of your child, the Kimoya Shule Africana. If you're in Baltimore, it's one of the best things you can do right now is to partner with this institution and put your child in it.
Baba, I just got excited when you talked about how the K through 12 program teaches regurgitation. By regurgitation, just parroting what the teacher tells you.
Yes.
No real in-depth understanding of the concepts and ideas that they're being exposed to. Just the ability to repeat. And so I often tell my college students that who come into engineering, I tell them that, look, engineering requires you to utilize the higher order thinking skills. So when you come into our program, we don't expect you to just recite Ohm's law, V is equal to I times R. Don't just tell me that. We expect you to understand Ohm's law, to apply Ohm's law, to analyze Ohm's law, to evaluate Ohm's law, and then to create something with Ohm's law. See, those are higher order thinking skills. See, what they teach in the K through 12 system, they teach our children to operate at the lowest level of thinking, which is to remember, to repeat, to regurgitate. And so when they come to me, it's hard because they're in a discipline that requires them to be critical thinkers. So it's really the first year of getting them, kind of molding them and developing those skills, because they lack those skills coming out of K through 12. The only thing they know how to do is just repeat what the teacher told them. And we call that learning. We call that an education. That's not an education if your child is going to school and all he or she knows, he or she knows how to do is repeat something, recall something, can't build anything, can't think past go, can't problem solve. And we running around with cameras and cap and gowns, smiling in pictures. So, Bob, I'm not going to go on a tangent. I already went off on the last time you were on here and I posed the question. I said, what are we graduating? What are we graduating? We got to really think about that, Baba. And so anyway, it seems like you wanted to get in there. Did you want to say something, Baba?
So yeah, just add on to when you was talking about thought and critical thinking. So from an African point of view, something that's lost in the West, and most of us are either subjected to it or we have been subjected to it. And what that is that in terms of thinking and thought, from an African point of view, we don't only cultivate analytical thought, we also cultivate synthetic thought and symbolic thought, the ability to synthesize and the ability to see the essence behind a thing. So that's the reason why our ancestors created so many myths, which the Europeans didn't understand, but used the power of the word to reduce the potency of. So since we don't know our own stuff, we listen to what Europeans say and we repeat it. We say myths are lies. We say that's a myth. We equate a myth with lie. And they're not the same. But we are only parenting what white folks have said, because white folks didn't possess the higher faculties of thought to comprehend the myth that our ancestors were demonstrating. I'll give you an example. So when we said Ra was the sun, and we create the drama or the narrative around Ra, in one sense, Ra represents not the physical representation of the sun, but the solar energy that's discharged from the sun. So our ancestors were explaining that through story. Why? That's one of the best ways to teach, to educate, is to appeal to the dramatic part of the mind, the brain, rather than the literal, because words oftentimes muddles the truth. Excuse me. When we are attempting to explain metaphysical principles with operational in nature, it's kind of hard to do with words. But when you take the same metaphysical principles and you put them in a story and convey it that way, it's easier grasped. So our ancestors were geniuses at tapping into the faculties of us. And that is what will be utilized within the Kimoya Shule Africana, is to also get them to not only be analytical thinkers, but also how do you be a synthetic thinker in terms of how do you think in terms of synthesis, and how do you understand and think in terms of symbolic thought and symbolic reasoning? Because once we get there, we on our way. Once we get there, we on our way as a people, because now we are thinking using our own worldview. Our worldview, and I don't even like to say our worldview is diametrically opposed to theirs, right? Because when we say our stuff is diametrically opposed, we make it polar, right? So to be
That's
polar
true.
is to put them on the same line, right? We're not even on the same line.
Go ahead, Papa.
Their stuff is just their stuff, and ours is ours, right? We know that we operate totally different. We're not on the same frequency in any capacity, and we're not on the same line. So we have to think about ourselves in relation to them totally different than how we have been thinking about ourselves. I give an example, like how I explain Ma'at and Isfat. Now, traditionally, Isfat is understood as being the opposite of ma'at. And I understand why we say that, why we get that. But I like to take it to another level and says this. I say isfet is the absence of ma'at. Is when ma'at is absence, isfet can rise. So it's the absence of order that allows chaos and disorder to exist.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's the absence of the African operationally in the world that allows the Yoruga to exist.
Where's my fire sound? I need to boo fire, fire, fire. Golly, Baba. That was like a mic drop just now, Baba. Peace to Baba Amin, who has joined us from the Uhuru Academy, Baba. Peace and love to you. I love the shirt, Baba.
Please.
Black power, black
What's happening,
power.
Doc? What's happening, Bob IMHOTEP?
Peace. What's going on?
I'm good, black man. I'm good, African.
That's right. That's what's up. You looking good.
Appreciate your work, man, and everything that you do for your people, man.
Yeah.
Baba, I got it. Baba, I'm crashing a party in Texas. Where we going, Baba?
Oh, you know I got to go to Funky Town for the 5-0 now. All right.
Okay, so you're going. Okay.
Celebrate the 5-0 on the phone, going to Texas. So yeah, you got to come down. We're gonna do our thing, man. We're gonna celebrate it. Black love is black power.
Yeah, when you were talking about it on Facebook, I said, should I say something? Because you were asking people like, where should we have it at?
Yeah,
and I was like, I'm crashing. I was like, I gotta crash.
Yeah, I need to know
where
where
the
crash. Spots are, man. You know, we've been in Columbia, South Carolina for a few years now, so you know, I need to know where the spot needs to be. So I was just out there scouting, seeing what was going on.
I can dig it. I can dig it, Baba. I can dig it. So we were building. Baba Baruti came on, and you know, he poured so much. I mean, he talked about Baba IMHOTEP and Mama Ife and complementarity and what they've been doing it for us, for our people, for over 2 decades, and just encouraging people to vote. As I explained to you, Baba, in the voice note, I'm not sure if you saw this. Let me add this to the stream.
Well, no, I didn't see the video. I haven't seen the video.
Okay, but you saw the like, not I don't want to say advertisement, but you saw this.
Well, I got your message, but I didn't get a chance to check this out because we were
on the plane when I reached out.
We was on the plane all day, you know, and so but congratulations early, Bob. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna go vote if I can. But let me watch the video.
Oh, yeah. So look, Bible, let me tell you what's going on. Well, we talked about it briefly, but the Kamoyo Shule Africana is a weekend community that Baba is implementing. He's going to implement it regardless. But there is an opportunity for him to win a $25,000 grant. And all we have to do is vote. All right. Okay. So family, look, I'm going to do this again. Click on the link. Let me copy it first. So family, I'm putting the link in the chat. Please do this with me. I'm going to vote again from a different email address. But please do this with me, family. All right. And so you click on the link. Come here to vote now. It says one more step. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, Baba. Let me refresh. Hit vote now. Okay. So when you click vote now, and it's going to ask you or prompt you to enter your email address. So I already voted from one email address. So I'll be voting from another. So you come in here, you enter your email address, and you hit submit. All right. So once you hit submit, now I'm heading over to my email account. Okay, so an email is going to pop up. All right, let me just get rid of this is all junk stuff. But I don't have nothing to hide. I'm with my family. All right, so I'm waiting for an email. It just says last day to vote. So that's not it. Voting closed. That's not it. So let me refresh. Here it is. So the email just came through. It says email voting, email verified voting. So you click on that email, you click validate vote. And so then you're going to get a message that says your vote submission has been preliminarily accepted. Your vote will appear once it has passed final validation. All right. So, family, you watched me vote live twice, and you saw it took less
Yeah.
than a minute. All right. And so, family, please let me know in the chat if you voted. I saw a few people hit vote, you typed in voted. So please let me know in the chat if you voted. So, Baba, I just want to talk to you about African centered education. How important is it for our babies? Is it necessary? Is it essential? Or is that something, what is it essential? Is African centered education essential?
It's the default. It has to be the default. It has to be the education. African centered education, as far as Black people are concerned, should be a type of education that should just be education. It should be what it is. You should learn to view the world through the eyes of your ancestors, through the eyes of our collective experience, through your individual experience, right? You have to take ownership of everything that you learn. If you don't take ownership of it, then you're like a Johnny come lately. You're borrowing math from somebody else. You're borrowing history from somebody else. You're borrowing science from somebody else. But if you take ownership so you can innovate, you take ownership so you can push the envelope and take us into the future. So African-centered education is essential if we want to start raising producers and owners as opposed to puppets and a permanent underclass, you know what I'm saying, serving people that don't deserve our love, don't deserve our skill, don't deserve our innovation and our talent. You know what I'm saying? And so African-centered education is the only education solution for African children, period. What other
Period.
perspective is there? I ain't know they had others. I ain't know there was some other ones out there.
So, Baba, let me ask you this, because I wanted to also build, Baba IMHOTEP and I wanted to build on this so-called gender war
Mm,
that we see online, and the men are going, I don't even want to call them men. The males are going against the females, and all of this stuff, this crap that we're seeing on social media.
right.
With African-centered education, does African-centered education promote healthy relationship between African men and African women?
Well, number one, it promotes a healthy relationship with the self.
Mm,
And when you start with a healthy relationship with the self, then healthy relationships outside of self, they're going to be healthy because they're going to reflect the health that's inside of you. And so when I see brothers and sisters going at each other online, it's no different than when I see brothers and sisters going at it in the streets over Crip and Blood, East Side, West Side. Now it's male, female. We're just in search of identity. You're
mm.
looking for an identity. And when you don't have one, or when you don't feel strong enough to establish one, you're right, then the powerless like to fight against the powerless. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not establishing an institution around what you're talking about. Social media just kind of gives you a place to dump your emotions. So we go at each other because there's no accountability there. So I could tell you, go kill yourself online. These males are this, and let me show you. Let me copy and paste this TikTok that I saw. Oh, I murdered them today. You didn't murder nobody today. You just kind of unloaded your emotions on the internet today. That's what you did, right? And you said more about yourself and your own insecurities than you're talking about whoever it is you have a problem with. So when
That's
I see
true.
brothers and sisters going at it arguing over gender roles, then what I see is brothers and sisters going at it trying to figure out, who are we? How does our community function? Do we even want to be a community still? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be a woman? Right? And then some of them not even sure what it means to be a man and woman from the family that they come from.
That's true.
The
That's
gender
true.
roles may have gotten mixed up in my own family, so I'm not sure. So now I can hear a Kevin Samuels, or I can listen to some. I can go to watch Red Table Talk with Jada and pick up something good and say, okay, well, I think I'm gonna grab some of that. Well, I think I'm gonna grab some of that. But I ain't never grabbed me. No one else. I haven't even grabbed who I am. So now my beliefs become my identity. And when your beliefs become your identity, you risk being stuck there. Because when someone introduces a new idea, you feel like I'm no longer being myself if I listen to your idea.
Woo. Woo. So, Baba, we do have a question for you in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Sean P. He said, what does Baba either one think about people saying that African-centered education is not teaching us how to be competitive within the current system we are under?
Okay, cool. I like that question. Number one,
Yes.
what's so impressive about the current system that we're under that we need to try to compete with it? If you look at the current system that we're under, it's not America doesn't lead industrialized nations in education. Matter of fact, we're towards the bottom. America's towards the bottom of the list
I
when it
think we're
comes
25, or we like 25 or
right,
26,
right. Out of
Baba.
30 some industrialized nations, we're in the mid to late 20s. So number one, the goal in African centered education is not to compete. Matter of fact, the goal, and it's not a hard goal to achieve, is to exceed
So
what
you said we
students
ain't
are
trying to
receiving.
compete, we want to exceed.
Yeah, nobody trying to compete with that. I don't want to be on, they're not our peer. Okay, public school is not my peer. All right. If children are coming out of my school thinking like children are thinking in public school, then I didn't do my job. All right. Number one, if you have an African child that's being themselves, they're already superior to anything that system can offer, because the one thing that system never offers is an opportunity for you to be yourself. Right. And so that's superior off top. Right. And then as we gain more resources, and as we have gained more resources, you'll find, I know we get this all the time. I know Baba Barudi's gotten it, and I bet you Baba IMHOTEP has encountered this too. When children run through our program and then go back over there, the people over there be calling us like, what did you do? Man, they're advanced. Wow, they're ready. So that hasn't been my experience. Right now, people may look and say, well, they got 200 computers. Y'all got 20 computers. Y'all can't compete. Man, you can have the most advanced machinery in the world. If ignorance is coming through the machine, you ain't doing nothing.
Facts.
You're still not teaching. You're just amplifying lies, right? And our children are being educated to be a permanent underclass anyway. Our children who are coming out of that system and excelling, they're excelling because of supplemental things that are being introduced in their lives, whether it be from their parents, whether it be from more community involvement, that sort of thing. Is rarely based on the curriculum that they received in public school alone. So that's what I would say. And I would say sometimes we just don't look competitive because the white man's ice is just colder than our ice. I can't do nothing about that part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the white man ice cream is just cold in our ice cream. And so when you look at what we're doing, just because we're doing it, it's automatically inferior by default in our mind's eye. But once you step inside and take a look, you'll see something different.
Sister Amina, she put up a stat. The queen always comes through. She said, according to the Business Insider report in 2018, the U.S. ranked 38 in math scores and 24th in science.
Yeah, we're not trying to compete with that.
This is what Baba IMHOTEP and I were literally talking about. I mean, we weren't mentioning these stats, but Baba, we were talking about how a lot of the brothers and sisters in the Caribbean and even in Africa, when they come over here, a lot of the ones that I encountered at the university told me that our first 2 years of college is their last 2 years of high school. Yeah. So, I'm in, and this is even when I remember being a student and going to school with people from Kenya, Trinidad, Jamaica. I mean, they would come and they were killing the engineering program. Meanwhile, a lot of us placed in remedial math when we took our placement test to get into Morgan. We placed in remedial math. A lot of us didn't start in Calc 1, which is where you need to start if you want to graduate in 4 years with a degree in engineering. So we didn't start in Calc 1.
And was probably on honor roll in high school.
You said we probably what?
Was probably on honor roll in high school.
I know I was, Baba. How about that? I didn't place in Calculus 1 when I took that placement test, and I was on honor roll in high school. Got to Morgan, and Morgan humbled me. I placed in college algebra when I took that test, and then had to end up going, pre-calc, and then from pre-calc to calc, and I went that route. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the people from the Caribbean and from Africa, they were way more advanced. They already took the higher mathematics. They already took calculus. They already took statistics. They took differential equations. A lot of the stuff that we were taking and learning for the first time, they already took it. They already were exposed to chemistry, physics 1, physics 2. They already took all of that stuff. And so all they did was just excel. Some of them didn't even come to class half the time, Baba. We didn't even see them. So we're in the lab, Baba, sweating and going to tutoring. We're going to tutoring, Baba, trying to figure it out. And those, my Trinidadian brothers and sisters, they sitting back in the dorm room playing games, watching TV, and would come in and ace the test and leave. I mean, that's how I'm telling you. And so I do agree with you that the U.S. is at the bottom when it comes to education.
Right. So, and the freedom and having an African Center institution, having our own institutions, gives us the freedom to look at it on a global scale and look at what other people are doing in other places, not just confined to here. Look at it on a global scale, and we can expose our children to. I mean, look at what Marcus Klein is doing in his program.
Absolutely.
What we're doing in our program with our essay writing and things like that. We can expose our children to higher discipline as early as we want to, and we know by studying Dr. Amos Wilson that the African child is more intellectually advanced from the jump than the average child on the planet.
Absolutely, Baba. I can't agree with you more with the program. And I'm rocking my shirt. Brother Sean P said, he said, where you get that shirt from? I said, brother, it's mine. It's my brand, my program. And what I noticed is literally when we're going into these schools, Baba, they said, my deans asked, how are you teaching STEM to them? They're only third or fourth graders. Baba, those third or fourth graders, they sit there and they start putting things together before I do. I'm sitting there explaining schematics and different things, and they're already putting things together on the breadboard. They are already there, like you said, geniuses. It's just that we just have to nurture that. You know what I mean?
Provide them with spaces that are rich in safety and gives them a sense of ownership, and just let them do their thing.
Absolutely.
We're not doing no heck of a thing, y'all. All we doing is loving on them, having high expectations, and providing them with a safe space to express themselves and do their thing. That's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they take care of the rest.
Absolutely. Baba Sean P said you and your wife used to do nice lives. He said nice lives. He said with you and your wife, and y'all would talk relationships and all topics. He said, do you all still do that?
We do. It's kind of sporadic because we have a lot of children, so you just can't put us on a schedule like that, but yes, he's talking about he say, she say with Baba Amin and Mama and Koyo. And yeah, we still do. We might do one this weekend. We out here in Phoenix with a organization called Our Black Fathers Coalition and the Arizona RBGs. We're going to have a Black Family Conference tomorrow, RBG Hip Hop Explosion tomorrow night, and then I'm lecturing on Sunday out here, So we may throw in a he say, she say while we at it.
Beautiful, Bob. I was going to go ahead, Bob.
You got to plug me in, man. You got to keep me in the loop with what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob. Man, you need to link up, period, man. We need to link up and keep each other in the loop. So yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely, absolutely. Dr. Maat, you was talking about that earlier, being that bridge, right? Being that
absolutely.
Bridge. Yeah. So, and we need that help because brothers like Bob IMHOTEP and his queen, and my queen, man, we be in our universe, don't we, Bob?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We be in our universe, man.
And look, Bobby, you do have a bunch of kids. I remember when you called me up, you said, Doc, I'm in town. I said, all right, cool. Meet me at such and such, such and such. I said, all right. So I pull up Bobby IMHOTEP, right? Matter of fact, I asked them to meet me over at the Temple of New African Thought, the new building that they have on, I think it was Harford Road is where the new building is. And so anyway, Baba, I pull up and I call him. I said, Baba, where you at? Oh, me and the wife, we just pulled up. We getting ready to get out the car now. I just saw kid after kid after kid. Y'all came in with the whole tribe. I said, okay. I said, all right, Bob. I looked around.
Half the tribe.
Look, you see, that's what you told me. You was like, it's not even. He was like, this not even everybody.
This ain't no gang sign. This how many children I got. Okay. All right, we rocking with 8. So I think we had 4 with us when we met you in Baltimore that time.
Yes. So yes. I just see kid at the. I said, okay. So 1 came out, 2 came out. Then we were just all in the spot together. He was like, yeah, we just doing some traveling and.
I know. Yeah, well, I'm going to take a half at a time. You got to tell other half. Y'all go on next trip. This half, y'all come this trip. Y'all can't afford all y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love my babies, man. Beautiful family.
So question, Baba, to the panel, Bobby Motep and Baba. I mean, do you all think that people who are fueling this so-called gender war online are enemies to Black African people?
Mm.
I-
I'll let Trey.
um, that's a great question. Um, what I've come to realize in my years of doing the work for our people is at the fundamental issue that we're really dealing with is a chronic form of confusion, deep confusion, right? That confusion, it manifests in multiple ways. When you have been knocked off your center, you're going to look at the world from a split perspective, right? So we're looking into the world, and because we have been knocked off our center, we can't understand how and why we have become hurt. So we take our personal hurt and we turn it into a blanket and we throw it on the other.
Mm.
And we say that the other is no good. And then the other do the same thing. So I would say this here. I would say that the reason why I say that the gender war is an illusion, not that I'm not saying that brothers and sisters are not necessarily having their issues with one another. I'm not saying that. I'm saying to conclude that Black men and Black women, African men and African women are at war. To come to that conclusion, your premise is false. And because the premise was false, your conclusion are false. It's simple. You learn that in any basic European school of logic. If you went to their school, they're going to teach you that. If you understand logic, if the premise is false, then the way you reason through it, the conclusion is going to be false. So if you're starting from a false premise, your conclusion are false. And most of us who say we are at war with one another are starting from a false premise. Now, is everyone an enemy? I think some do. I think some people who are propagating it are very intentional and they are very evil with doing it. I think some of our people are perpetrating it and perpetuating it unknowingly of the damage that they are causing. And then I think some people are doing it because they really just don't care because I'm hurt. You know, I've been hurt. And because I've been hurt and I don't know how to deal with my own hurt, I don't know how to heal, I don't know how to get out this funk, I don't care who else I hurt. I think those are the three reasons.
Baba, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think that, unless I miss something, we're still at war with self, right? And so when you're at war with self, and what I mean by that is, you know, our collective identity crisis. And then you intersect that with capitalism and the opportunity to monetize on social media, the opportunity to monetize on YouTube. There's a healthy appetite for dysfunction out there. There may be a healthier appetite for dysfunctional conversations between Black men and women than healthy conversations between Black men and women. So if you look at it from purely I want to monetize or business perspective, you may find that your most of your views will come with the controversy. I do live sometimes on Facebook, my morning bills, and I can go through my morning bill. Y'all, if I'm talking noise about white folks and going in like that, through the roof. If I'm talking about Black love, it's kind of medium, right? The appetite is there, for that dysfunction, but that's because the dysfunction is already being taught. The dysfunction is kind of inbred in us. The frustration is there. So people in capitalism, people capitalize. You know what I'm saying? That's the root word of capitalism. And so as far as being an enemy to African people, if you don't even acknowledge that you're an African person or that you're Black, if you're an enemy to yourself, then I guess you are an enemy to your people. Black men and women cannot be enemies of each other without being enemies of Black people. Because if you're a Black woman and a Black man is your enemy, then you are an enemy to Black people. If you're a Black man and a Black woman is your enemy, then you are an enemy to Black people. You don't have Black people without the Black male. and the black female. So if there's no unity there, then I mean, we're not a people, right? And so we have to be careful also with our words, and say, you know what, we are not at war with each other. We're not at war with each other. Black men and black women still making babies. There's still some great marriages and great relationships going on around. Young people are still falling in love. So just like we got to watch the narrative when we say our children are out here killing each other. Well, no, most of our children are out here trying to beat the odds like you did, right? But when we make those blanket statements, young people hear that and they say, well, what's the point? So when we say black men, black women, they just can't get together. Well, young people come out here and say, well, then what's the point? So we absolutely can get together. We are getting together. But like you said, in that social media environment, there's such an appetite and market for dysfunction then that's what's pushed.
No, I couldn't agree with the both of you more. And just listening to you, wow, just the way you eloquently put it, Baba, when you said that's it, we have an appetite for dysfunction. I mean, man, Baba. I mean, it's so true. Because like you said, we'll gravitate towards it got to be something controversial. And I remember Baba IMHOTEP and I were talking about this on the phone. And I was like, Baba, I noticed if I just put in the title, we're going to talk about positive parenting or positive parenting techniques or African-centered education or healing. No one cares. But if I put it on there, Dr. Maat goes in on Brother Unc.
Here we go.
You get 1,000 people. Oh, what's going on? Her Unc must be beef. And they're drawn to it. Or if I put
these ratchet black parents. Instead of saying positive parenting tips for black people, no, you got to say these ratchet black parents. Oh, we coming on that because these black parents, and you a black parent. These black parents be something else. You're a black parent yourself. But yeah.
Listen, let me add to that real quick. That's because we have been conditioned to remain intoxicated, right? So whether we're using alcohol as the stimulant, you know what I'm saying, to get us high, whether it's sex, gambling, controversy, or drama, you know what I'm saying? In a capitalistic society, you will be socialized to fuel the engine. You're going to be socialized to fuel the engine because capitalism, it exists off of capitalizing off of people, exploitation. So anything that lends to the exploitation of people, the people who don't understand it going to be drawn to it because they feels it. Like Baba Amin just got finished saying, so you can take a person, a no good person that's totally evil. If that person is skilled at using social media, he or she can attract thousands of people and monetize off of that just by keeping dysfunction accessible because it's an attraction. It's an attraction, right? But that attraction is the desire to remain intoxicated because we want to be numb. We don't want to deal with our situation. We are trying to deal with escapism. So that's another way to get numb. So why would I take an hour and listen to people talking about how to heal and how to overcome and how to get themselves better, right? To do that requires of me to look at myself. I'm not ready to look at myself.
There it is.
So I'm not coming on that. You know what I'm saying? I want to look at the other one that's talking about the ratchet people so I can be like this. Oh, yeah. So the focus can be off of me. That's what's going on with us.
Right. And that's why the so-called gender war, it is what it is. Because we have a lot of us out here really at war with ourselves. That's but right. if a group of brothers, if we can come together, black men say, let's unify and say we the woke ones and the sisters are asleep. Then the sisters come and go, we the woke ones and the brothers are asleep. When now sisters ain't got to look at sisters. Brothers ain't got to look at brothers. We where we need to be. They just need to get it together. And the sisters like, we where we need to be. Y'all need to get it together. But all everybody's doing is just avoiding the mirror. That's it. And if both genders just start looking in the mirror as opposed at each other, they'd be surprised how much better we treat each other.
True. Absolutely.
And let me add this, Dr. Maat.
Go ahead, please.
At the heart of education, true education, is the development of character.
That's right. That's right.
The development of character. So when you have people that displays poor character, that is a testament to whatever they received as an education. Right. So you can determine the education level of a person by monitoring their character or the lack thereof. Right? Because education essentially is socialization. So socialization for us is the practice of ma'at. Right? So we think about our ancestors in the highest state of the classical society. We talk about Kemet. And what were the kings or the rulers were demonstrating? They were Heru on earth, and their fundamental task was to maintain ma'at and hold back its fat. That's our task. Our task is to maintain the order within the societies. That's the reason why we think about our ancestors in the western part of Africa, in any one of the Western traditions, disorder is classified as evil. See, evil was the disorder. It was the violation of the orders at the social level, the natural level, the spiritual level, or the cosmic level. Whether you did it intentionally or unintentionally, that violation had to be rectified because it created disorder, which is evil. Because the order was set in place to ensure the maximization, the expansion, and the development of the person within community. That's what it was all about. So we educated our people to understand the role in that. So if you violated, it had to be rectified. It was none of that, I don't want to deal with that. I'm not going to come and talk to you. That's stuff we do today. I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to make you right. And you know you wrong. You lied on Dr. Maat, but now we've proven you lied on Dr. Maat, but you don't want to come forth and make it right. You don't want to stand before the people. The same people you lied to the public on her about. You want to come back before the same people and say you was wrong, right? You just want to duck out. We didn't care like that pre-European.
I gotta say, look, Baba IMHOTEP, I gotta say that has happened in the community. I get telephone calls. I was saying this online about you. I am apologizing, but don't want to apologize online. Literally, things have happened online. You say, Baba?
I said, tell the truth where you told the lie.
Come on, tell the truth where you told the lie.
Right back to the spot where you told the lie and tell the truth.
It has happened. Brother Aunt can bear witness to this. Then, can you call on the three-way for me? Now you're on the three-way, wanting to apologize, but don't want to go in front of the people and say, hey, sister, I was wrong when I told that lie on you. I apologize. But calling Bobby, I'm telling you, he didn't even know. Bobby IMHOTEP he doesn't even know what I'm talking about. Literally, family. He doesn't even know. He was just talking. But it actually happened. It happened to me a few times. And so you're right, Bobby. You said that we did not talk like that prior. I mean, we did not carry ourselves like that prior to European invasion and colonization. Is that what you said, Bob? I just want to be clear.
Yes. Prior to them interfering and meddling in our lives, we were a very and if you look at any one of the spiritual traditions of our people, it's a concept of good character in there. If you get into it, when you really get into our spiritual philosophy, our ancestors put a high premium on good character, a good character. So we had taboos put in place for a reason, but things that you just can't do, right? But because to do that is going to create some disorder. And that disorder is going to mess up the order, and it's going to create confusion and chaos. And all of that right there is going to interfere with prosperity in production and development, right? So you got to focus on character. And character was a part of the education. That was a part of how we was educated to know how to. It's like this. I was in a conversation yesterday with Dr. Opa Tashaka, having the same conversation. This is one of the things that he shared was this. We was talking about this conversation right here about people not understanding the role of character in education. And this is what he said. He said, any human being that lacks good character and is not striving for good character is not a human being. See, our human beingness is based on how we relate to the natural world, our community, the cosmos, and the spiritual world, right? If we are violating and disregarding and disrespecting those four realms, then we are not human in the African concept of what it means to be a human being. See, we think that we can use this word human being and it's across the board. No,
That's what they say.
our ancestors had a different concept of what it meant to be a human being. Just because you walk upright and verbalize words doesn't necessarily classify you as being human in the African cosmology.
Right. And that assumption of global humanity was a part of, when you study the destruction of Black civilization, that was part of the problem.
That's exactly. And we still making that mistake today because we don't know our way. We don't know that there's a demarcation with us and them. We don't know that we're not the same. We don't know we don't think the same. We don't know we don't feel the same. We don't know we don't have the same desire. We don't know we aren't them. And that's
and Baba, we do know we different, but we're miseducated to think that difference is a deficit.
Bing, yeah, there you go. Yes, sir.
We're miseducated to thinking that we see that there's a difference between us and them, but we're miseducated in the West, well, globally, to believe that difference is a deficit for us. So we grow up thriving to be that.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't fit us. Because when we do it, we be loving and hating at the same time. We be cold and hot at the same time. Don't make no sense. Every Sunday we went up to on Wichita after hanging out. Everybody every Sunday would go to Wichita, and by 6:30 p.m. every Sunday somebody gonna shoot. But guess what, Bob? We're gonna all be right back there again next Sunday.
Yeah.
We loving, then pow, hate, then come back, love. It's not for us. We, no matter how much we try, when we talk to youth, our young people, and they enter the gang life and stuff like that. I've been working with street involved youth for 30 years. And I'm telling you, I haven't met one yet. And I'm talking about active. I ain't met one yet that in their heart, in their character, felt like they were living the way that they were supposed to live. Not yet.
That's so true.
I haven't met one yet where I look and say, no, that's just who he is, or that's just who she is. I haven't met one yet.
No.
But I met some European youth. I'm like, oh yeah, bro. Yeah, they got to keep you away from society. That's who you are.
Well, we see it. And Baba, they continue to show us who they are. And I'm just like, Black people,
culturally,
African people. When will you see them? It's just them. It's just their nature. Nothing. I told, I said, it's nothing that they say or do that I'm surprised. It's the mass shooting, all of it. I'm not surprised. This is what they do. It's in their nature. So I do agree with you all that in the African context, these people, so-called people, we would not consider them human in the African context. And so, like you said, just because you stand upright and you got hair and you look like me minus the skin color or lack of skin color, that doesn't mean that doesn't qualify you as a human. Being a human was much more than just you look in a certain way.
Education. That's why everybody go and make sure you vote for Kimoyo Shule Africana, because programs like this, African-centered programs, we empower our students to look at the world and give the world a real report card. Don't just worry about the report cards you're going to get. You have the power to look at the world and give it a report card, because you're inheriting this. You're inheriting this. And what happens when you grow up in this country, that your side chooses you. You're going to be a Democrat, you're going to be a Republican. No. African-centered education gives you a global worldview. And you look at the global African-centered worldview, and you give them a report card. So you're impressed by European achievement. How about the oil spills and how dirty the ocean is, and what are the sacrifices being made for all of these great innovations? You like your smartphone? Well, how about coltan? There's not a more fair way to cultivate and mine coltan, and so you can have these devices. What's going on with that, right? And so, being powerful enough to supply that information and giving it to them early gives them a worldview. It really prepares them to rule, as opposed to making them follow the rules. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's why everybody go vote, do what you got to do, brother. I wish you the best with this little grant, because this is small compared to what you're doing. You can't put a dollar sign on the work that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And
Not
so,
at all.
yeah. So I didn't want to get out of here without making sure I did my part. I voted. I'm going to vote again. I'm going to log out
Same
and log
here.
in my other emails. You know
Same
what I'm
here.
saying? Y'all, let's jump on. Let's make this happen, because we're not going to be successful in what we do without Black people.
That's right.
Ashe.
Period.
That's right.
Ashe.
We're totally vested in our community. That's it. No one else is coming.
Nobody.
Nobody. Black love is our wagon. We done hitched our wagon to Black love, and that it is what it is. And personally, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes.
Ashe.
All right, Bob. I
Ashe.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Bob,
No,
I appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you coming in, Bob. I know it was short notice, but I
no,
thank you
it's
so much
anytime you
for
got
coming
mine.
in.
We can't got into the Airbnb, and I crashed. I had to get some sleep. And as soon as I woke up, I saw my phone. I'm like, oh, let me do my thing. I gotta wash my face first. I can't just jump on here. So I had to get it right.
Crossing your
Yeah,
eye,
yeah.
Baba, crossing your eye.
Baba Baruti on here. I can't go amongst the greats looking crazy. Hold on. Let me get it right. I had to iron my little t-shirt, everything. So
That's
I'm
right.
here. I appreciate the invite. Love you, Baba. Love you, Dr. Maat.
We love you
All
too,
right.
Baba. We love
Likewise.
you
Yes.
too, Baba. And I'll be in touch with you on Monday so we can get this stuff going. I'm not
Yes.
going to tell the family what we have cooking up for them.
Oh, it's going
But we
down.
got
Oh,
some
it's
stuff. Yeah,
going
we
down.
got some stuff cooking up, and I want to
Yes.
put it out there to the family once we organize it and get everything together,
Yes.
Baba.
I'm ready. We'll
All
talk
right.
Monday.
We'll talk Monday, Baba. Be safe. Love you much. Love you and the wifey. Peace. All right, family. So look, I'm putting the link in the chat. Dr. Maat is going to vote a third time tonight. You've watched me do it 3 times. And if I can do it 3 times, you can at least do it 1 time. All right. So please click on the link in the chat. Please click on the link in the chat, family. All right. Once you click on the link, click vote now. I'm going to enter another email address. All right. Click the submit button. So again, it says one more step for your vote to be counted. To help stop voting fraud, you will receive an email shortly with a link to verify your email address. Click on the link for your vote to count. All right, so let me go to my email address. And the reason I need to get off screen is because this is my work email address. And I don't want to show students' names. So what I'll do is bring up the verify email. Okay. All right, so let me reshare now. Just wanted to make sure I didn't show anybody's information. All right, and so once you enter your email address and you hit submit, an email will pop up in your account entitled email verified voting. Okay, and so you click on the email, navigate here to the black button, and just click validate vote. And when you click validate vote, it says your vote submission has been preliminarily accepted. Your vote will appear once it has passed the final validation. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I see the young warrior. Young warrior Ryan said, family, it took me less than 3 minutes to vote. Peace to the young warrior in the building. Peace to you, brother. Thank you so much for your vote. The young warrior said voted twice now, a BB Fahodier. And I call him a young warrior, Baba IMHOTEP, because I think, brother Ryan, how old are you? 21, 22? I know he's a young warrior, Baba, but I'm telling you, when I say he's on fire for the information, just on fire for our people, he's a young warrior, my young Asafo. I want to bring him to Baltimore. Brother Ryan, how many? He said, no problem, anytime. How old are you, brother? Tell us in the chat, brother, how old are you? Look at this. He said, I'm 22, turning 23 this year. And so he's a powerful warrior, Baba IMHOTEP. So we got to get him in Baltimore So, Brother Ryan, I might bring you through. I'm trying to fly you out here for the Race First rally, okay, happening in August. So I think that would be a great time to come to Baltimore, and I'll make sure that you're good to go, okay? And the Race First rally is going to take place at the end of August,
August
okay?
27th.
August the 27th, young Ryan. So let me know, brother, if you're available. Okay. He said, yes. Let me know if you're available, young brother. I'm going to bring you on out. Brother Mitchell Guest said, I just voted again. Family, let's vote. Let's get the votes in. Let me know in the chat, family, if you voted. I see my little brother, Jehudi Ma'at, is in the building. Peace to you. Peace to you, bro. That's my little bro. Peace to you. Bro, you got to vote, man. I hope you clicked on the link and vote. Baba Kwame is in the building. Kwame is in the building. He said, no one is coming to save us. We must save ourselves. Ashe. Artistic Artie says, healing is the new black. Ashe. Brother Richard said, Dr. Amos Wilson said, love is our power. Absolutely. I remember Dr. Amos Wilson online on YouTube. There's this lecture where he talks about black love. And he said that, that is the greatest love that we have, which is black love, love for self and love for each other. He said those who rule over us or who wish to rule over us and oppress us, they seek to destroy the love that we have for one another. Ashe. So thank you for quoting our great ancestor, Dr. Amos Wilson. Brother Asafo said, I voted. Peace to you. Brother Richard said the gender war is the nature of, thank you. It's the nature of the Yavugu. Ma'at is based in man/woman. Thank you so much, Brother Richard. Brother New Black World Order says, peace, family, share the show, hit the like button, subscribe. He said, welcome, glad you're here. Enjoy the information. Baba, someone put in the chat that that integration killed us. I wanted you to build on that, Baba. They said integration crushed us. What are your thoughts on that, Baba?
Integration killed us.
Crushed us. That's what he said. I think it was Brother Richard. Yeah, he said it crushed us.
I understand why that is said. The idea and the concept that we could move into this society caused us to lose a whole lot of ourselves. However, there's something else that was taking place during that time period with this integration. Because with this big push of integration is pretty much like post Dr. Martin Luther King, when you really get down to it. But look at what else was taking place during that time period. Like post Dr. Martin Luther King is really when we saw a upbeat also in the drugs in our community. Because coming up with the post Dr. Martin Luther King, we gets into the black exploitation. You got the pimping. You got all that stuff taking place. You got the psychedelics, the drugs. So I think it was a combination of things happening. But I do agree with us thinking that we should be amongst them, that they had what we should have played a part in causing us to lose parts of ourselves. And I think we are still lost in that regard. I think that we hate so much about who we are, and we believe we don't. I'll give you an example, right? Like people who might say this, there is no spiritual book for black people. We might say stuff like that because we don't know our stuff. Like so we believe that everything we need, they have. So we believe that they possess what we need. That's a false belief. So since we believe they possess what we have, and we associate what they have with being the best, so therefore we're always striving to acquire what they have or to be as they are. That's a constant acquisition. That's a constant aspiration of ours, because we think that what we possess, who we are, what we have, we think ours is less than theirs because we're using their standard. And in any particular society, whether you're going to Chinese society, a Japanese society, a Korean society, you always going to make yourself out to be the standard by which everything else is judged. So since Europeans invaded and dominated in this land and pretty much runs all the systems and all the structures, they are going to set themselves up as the standard. And they're going
Absolutely.
to teach that within every single institution. So we have bought into that lie to believe that they possess the best of everything. So we want what they got. That's the problem. So that's what made the illusion of integration effective at destroying us, because we already desired what they had.
So, Baba, why did you say that it was post Dr. King that integration was pushed? Because he was pushing integration, right? Like in the early 60s, and you wouldn't say that he was pushing that integration, Baba? Because you kind of was like,
So think about it like this. During the time period of that particular time period, things were taking place, but nothing kicked off. Like, think about when busing really took off. Busing really took off post King. Think about when blacks was able to really lead their communities, and the quote unquote black professionals were able to move into these neighborhoods. We talking about post King. Like anything pre King, it was still kind of hot for the most part.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of hot even post King.
And most of us, in pre King, most of us, you know what I'm saying, we had those desires, no doubt, but we still had clusters of us in communities together.
Yeah, we did.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So we talk about the bursting of this concept of integration when it truly burst. It's like post King when it kind of took off. Whereas though you could say we was let out the floodgates and we can run now and go and do all these things. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a post King when it started taking off like that. And that's because we was denied so much and we was beat down with propaganda so much that we believed that we didn't have anything. And they made it seem like everything they had was the best. I give an example. Like even in the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, in prisons in Maryland, you couldn't even look at a white guard. It was called reckless eyeballing. Reckless eyeballing, and it was a charge in prison to do it. So my point is this: they made themselves to be more than what they are. They created a desire, and we bought into it. We bought into it.
And Baba, I want to say this, and I gotta call out this chick. Her name is B. Simone, and there was a video that went viral on Instagram of B. Simone going at Dr. King. She said he wasn't a great man, and he wasn't a great man. She said, well, sure, he led marches and got some laws passed, some legislation passed for Black people, but he wasn't a great man because he cheated on his wife. He was an infidel. And so totally, in my opinion, disrespected Dr. King. What are your thoughts on that, Baba?
I believe this. I believe that buys into the same frame of conversation that we are currently having. I believe we have allowed them to determine who's good and who's bad amongst us, and we buy into it. Now, in the same token, we can take another individual of another race who may have not done anything on a level that King done, but may also made human mistakes and is totally forgotten. It's totally looked past. You know what I'm saying? So the way we love our ancestors, we don't love our ancestors because we said our ancestors were perfect in their attempts to be human, right? Because humanity for Black people, that's an experience for us. So in our attempt to be human, we learn as we go along. So we don't make every decision correctly, but that doesn't negate the fact that we are striving to perfect our humanity. So are we saying that Dr. King or Malcolm X or Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying, did make mistakes in their human endeavors? No, we're not saying that. If we're going to say King wasn't good because of unique mistakes that we allowed others to tell us about, right? I think his wife is best qualified because his wife is clear of mind, is focused. She was not beaten. She was not physically abused. She was not held captive. She was not controlled. She was sharp, intelligent, and smart.
Sharp as a tack.
So
Absolutely.
if she was able to see the character of her husband and carry his tradition on and see him as a good man, then King is a good man.
Come on. That's facts, Baba. That's facts. And I just, oh my God, Baba. I'm like, why is it always one? Why I ain't gonna say one of us? I'm not even gonna say that. But when she did that, and it was another sister, or I don't even want to call them two sisters, because speaking like that, they're not my sisters, but it was two skin folk. That's what I'm gonna start calling them, Baba. Skin folk. So two skin folk just on there, man, going at Dr. King. And I said, why is it always us, man? You know, it's always someone who looks like us who comes and want to just, for lack of better words, piss on the legacy, just piss on our, like, why? And so anyway, Baba, thank you so much for that. And family, I see that you voted. Baba Kwame said that he vote. Baba, Brother David said got votes coming in from our group chats. Thank you so much. Carrie said I voted on all accounts. S.A. Smith said just voted again a third time. Brother Christian said I voted. My little brother Jehudi Ma'at, he said I voted. Peace to you, brother Craig Samuels. I got your email, brother. I read it. And I do need to respond, but I did receive your email, brother. I did read it, and I will be giving you a call, brother. I'm ready to build. You said a bridge from Baltimore to Flint. I got it, brother. I got it. So peace to you, brother Craig. Trying to think who else. Yep, two Negro pens. Thank you. It's always someone who look like us. They always send somebody who look like us, don't they? And look at Brother Kerman. He said they glamorized JFK. So yes, it is a double standard. And Brother Kerman said that we have no code. This is why they can throw our departed elders under the bus. I've seen people throw Dr. King under the bus, Malcolm X under the bus, Marcus Garvey under the bus, Harriet Tubman. There's a lie going around. It's a dude named, I think it's Dan Calloway. He put up a video and he told young people that Harriet Tubman never existed. White people made her up. He called her a fictitious character. And again, these are people, Baba, who look like us, who are propagating these lies about our ancestors. I mean, Baba, it's ridiculous. They talk about Nat Turner, calling him a homosexual. I mean, it's all sorts of stuff, Baba. I'm telling you, going around on the internet about our African ancestors. Baba, why did you look like that when your eyes got big like?
Because that's that's an act of sacrilege. That's an act of sacrilege.
It is.
And
it is.
And we have to be. My shirt says, "Let's get organized," right? So let's get organized is at the root of race first. We have to organize ourselves into units, and their only mission is to listen for these type of individuals, and then mete out to them a just reward, right? Because it has to stop. And the only way that it's going to stop is that we stop it. Now, the reason why they do it, because in capitalism, it's profitable. It's profitable. So if a person did a show and talked about Marcus Garvey and made up all these lies on Marcus Garvey, you know how much attention he's going to develop? It's profitable. And some of us are so weak in character, and we keep people around us that's also weak in character, and we are trying not to deal with the true reality of our situation. We're trying to escape the situation. So what we do, we turn against one another by trying to exploit one another in hopes that the enemy will prop us up. So they don't come out and directly align themselves with the enemy, but they align themselves in a very indirect way by attacking their own people. So think of it like this. Person A and person B are in a war. Person B has a team. Now, someone on his team begins to attack the team. In that instance, that person is working with person A. It's like you and I, Dr. Maat. We back and back. You on my back, I got your back. We fighting. We fighting three people. And then you turn around and you see me lead a battlefield. So even though I don't hit you or do anything against you, the fact that I stepped off the battlefield, I really aligned myself with them against you. Because I made the odds that much more greater against you. So this is how we got to understand what's taking place. So we have individuals who are seeking financial gain by trying to slander Black excellence.
Absolutely.
That's what's happening.
Absolutely. So, family, I'm going to open up the lines now. I'm going to open up the floor. I don't even want to say the lines. Like I don't have a phone right here. I'm not opening up the phone lines, family. I'm opening up the platform for you. I'm dropping a link in the chat for you to come on in. If you want to build, come in and build on whatever you want to build, whatever you want to build on. Come on in. All right. Whatever you want to build on. We talked about B. Simone disrespecting Dr. King. We talked about the gender war. We talked about education. We talked about African-centered education, the gender war. We talked about so much tonight, family. If it's something that you would like to just pour on us, all right, something you want to express, the link is in the chat. I'm opening up the platform, family, to you. The link is in the chat. You do not have to cut your camera on, because Baba, some people are camera shy. So you're like, I don't want to click on the link. I don't want to cut my camera on. You don't have to cut your camera on if you don't want to, family, okay? All right? You don't have to cut your camera on. But if you want to come in, the floor is yours. The platform is yours. We got 62,000 people in the building. Baba, please let me know those votes are going up. I see the moderators are putting the link in the chat. Family, please vote. Please vote. Brother Safu said we're being ambushed by different physical and non-physical angles. Facts. Brother K Fighter said exactly, Baba. Brother Jehudi said teaching. Ashe. We're waiting for you to come on in, family. Come on in. Come on in if you want to just build on anything, any topic. If you want to add on to anything we've stated tonight, come on in, family. We're opening up the platform. Don't be shy, because people I don't know if I want to click the link. I don't know. Come on in, family. The link is in the chat. And I put the link on Facebook as well as YouTube. So come on in, say a few words to Baba, or say a few words to me if you want to pour into us, or, like I said, add on to something, or build on to or add, or just bring up a particular topic. K Fighter said it's Sister K Fighter. I'm sorry, Queen. I'm sorry, Queen. It's Sister K Fighter. She said it's all good, though.
And if you haven't voted, family, please vote. The voting stops at 11:59. So we are like 10:57. If you haven't voted, if you're on the show, if you want to know more about what you're voting for, this is an opportunity to actually come on and talk to me directly. And I can answer whatever questions that you may have, but I do need for you to cast that vote. And if you have friends and family members that's with you, encourage them to cast the vote as well. The many the votes, the better.
All right, Soul of a Man. Oh, where did he go? He just came on. Soul of a Man, get back here, man. I don't know if something happened with your connection, but I just added you to the platform. Soul of a Man, I'm waiting for you to come back in. I'm waiting for you to come back in. K Fighter, get in here. She said, yes, I voted most deaf. Asafo, get in here, man. Asafo, get up in here. Sister Amina, get in here, Sister Amina. You know you always dropping jewels in the chat. Brother Jehudi. Where you at, family? Brother Craig? He probably said, I ain't fooling with Dr. Maat and Bob tonight.
That's all good. That's what it's about.
Botanicana, look, Botanicana 420 said, but they love Marilyn Monroe, don't they? Don't they? All right. All right, family. All right, so Baba, I was trying to hang till midnight. I don't think I'm gonna make it,
Oh
Baba.
no, I know.
Look, look,
I know we
look,
wasn't
my
gonna make it to midnight.
look, my throat was like, I was over here. I don't know if the family saw me drinking my tea. So I'm trying to hold tight. I was waiting for some folks to come in and make it very interesting. Folks come in with different opinions and kind of get the back and forth started. Not a negative back and forth, but just that exchange, of ideas and information. And so I was waiting for some folks to come in. But if you don't come in, we're going to close out, family, if somebody doesn't come in to build. But I do appreciate everyone tuning in. I know that yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Bob, or the night before that we were on.
Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we told the family that we were coming back on Friday. And so I do appreciate everyone who's hung with us because we've been on for an hour and 45 minutes. And I do appreciate everyone for coming on, coming in, voting, sharing the discussion, thumbing up the video, subscribing. Brother Sofo said I would get on, but I'm at work. I could dig it. I could dig it. But the Kerman, you said you tried, or did you say you're tired? Let me put the link in here. I think you said you tried. So I'm going to click the link again. I'm sorry, not click the link again. There we go. There we go. K Fighter said, let Baba know Sister Keisha in Brooklyn always got his back.
Oh, that's my Brooklyn crew.
Yes, that's it.
Hotep, Sister Keisha. She's a warrior. Yeah, yeah. Hotep, my sister. Good to see you in the house as always. It's a beautiful blessing.
Beautiful.
You got to bring me back on your show also, my sister.
All right. Baba Kermit said, oh, okay. Sister Amina said she's here. Peace to the sister. Peace, sister. You have the floor. You can unmute your mic. Sister Amina, can you hear me, Queen?
I hear you well. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Peace and love to you, beloved. Thanks so much for joining the platform.
Peace,
I
sister.
was trying to peace to you, Baba and Hotep. I was trying to just stay on the sidelines and just work it that way. But everything you said was spot on, and it's just our own people is just it's bewildering and sad all at the same time. I mean, we cannot be conveniently comfortable, and people are just like relegated to not to the lack of enlightenment. It's just like this is just retarded. It's like a what they call a spiritual veil that's like lurking over our people, and they some just refuse to see the handwriting on the wall. I'm like, when Dr. Maat, you said it yourself. When someone shows you who and what they are, why do you fail to believe them? It's just mind-boggling to me. It's sad. Everything that you stated about re-educating your children because they've been miseducated. I've been doing this since my children, before they went to school, why they went to this westernized form indoctrination called education. I've been, doing it on a part-time basis. I do it now. I get on their nerves. I get on my husband's nerves. Like, they have to be re-educated. And I'm like, I'm being taught every day. I'm seeking out this knowledge every day so that you don't have to be miseducated and then say, well, mom, you taught us, or mom, you put us in these environments. But I've always known that my children should have been homeschooled. And that was
Mm,
one of my, I think as a parent, that I feel as though that I failed my children because I knew that they would soar more so in a home-schooled environment where I actually love them and I want them, um, to be self-identifying. That's not a
mm,
bad thing. You don't need to look like other people. I remember my children went to private school for a while, and one of my youngest said that a student said to her, "Why don't you look like your mother? Why aren't you the color of your mother?" And
mm.
what I told her, my husband's a British-born African, a British-born Nigerian to be specific. I'm natively 500 years strong, um, a descendant of, Africans who were human trafficked.
Mm.
So I say, I said to her that you are the best of your father and I. And did
That's
you
right.
know that the um, the ancient mothers used to put oil on their skin and bask in the sun because according to the Bible said they wanted to be as dark as the tents of Kedar. And I said every African woman wanted their melanin to shine. So you are the best between your father and I, and you don't need to be my complexion. Blacker the berry, sweeter the juice.
Mm.
So when my children came home, I had to like deprogram them in terms of what was being force fed into their psyches, and had to straighten some people up because you had some, non-melanated people who had some wayward, archaic, barbaric thinking, whether they be Latina, whether they be Neanderthal. I had to deprogram my children, but I'm always my children's fiercest advocate. And even people from the Caribbean, I had to go against them too, and had to set one of the, you know, she was a teacher, she became a vice principal. I had to set her straight. I said, look, they tolerate you, okay? You just got dropped off first, best believe.
Mm.
I had to set her straight. You're not going to maltreat our children and treat other children as though butter wouldn't melt in their mouth. And if you can't do that, then you are a poor representation. And just know this for sure. Lastly, I left her with this. If they see how you treat our children who look just like you, they know that you can't be trusted as well.
Mm.
So don't think that you're gaining some sort of, brownie points with these people. If they see that you're willing to sell your own people who carry African DNA in their in veins, just like you, what you would do to them.
Mm.
So you're not winning any brownie points by flipping on people who look like you. And at
Mm.
every turn, she will avoid me, rightfully so, because I'm gonna tell you who and what you are, and what you're nothing but a traitor, and that's all we have today. We have traitors amongst us
Mm.
for
Mm.
30 shekels of silver.
Mm.
So I would say good night to you all, and I'll go back to the chat room. Thank you.
Good night.
Oh,
S-
good night. And Dr. Maat, I sent you an email. So whenever
Okay.
you have time.
Yes, sister. I did receive your email and I'm going to go through. I'm terrible with emails, but I plan on going through all of my emails this weekend. So I do have your email and I will make sure that I respond to it. But thank you so much for, coming on the platform and sharing your thoughts, your knowledge and your experience, my sister. And I will
Thank
be in
you.
touch with you. Have a beautiful night.
Likewise, no rush whenever you can.
Will do, my sister.
Thank you.
Thank you. Abibi Fahodie. Brother Kerman.
Yes, how are you doing?
Peace and love to you. Oh, I'm sorry. Peace and love to you, Brother Kerman. How are you, brother?
I'm doing outstanding. Strength and honor to everyone. I was trying to turn on the camera, but it's not working out for me. You're helping me get past my shyness and all that stuff. But
Okay.
because this is a big step for me to do this right here.
We
Shout out
appreciate
from
you, brother.
I guess you could say the great state of Arkansas. They called it great, but we're not going to go there. I had a question for you. First of all, thank you for all the information that you shared tonight. But she kind of asked my question a little bit toward the end there. But Baba, why or what happened that we're so scared to be or to have a code, unlike other communities, and still say that we care about other people? But it's something that we just have a fear of having a code, because if we have a code and
Oh, it says device is not connected. So he went out of there. He was going too. So it says they will need to connect their mic or cam before you can add them to the screen. Oh, brother Kerman, come back in, man. Come on
Yeah,
in, brother. Cause he
wonderful.
was, yeah, that was I know where his question was going.
Yeah, I
He
would
said
like to
we
let,
were afraid to have a code. There's a fear of operating with a code. And so, Brother Kermit, come on in, brother. I don't know what happened, but literally it says something's going on with your devices. So I don't know if you pushed a button or there we go. Okay, there we go. There we go, brother. Now you're
oh,
back.
okay, I'm back. Uh,
Yes.
yes, and I'm just wondering, because we've had so many people come in the past, from Sojourner Truth to all the elders, God bless their soul, and they've been pounding into us what we need to do. But what is the problem with us as a group of people listening and heeding what they've been trying to tell us to do, and also be on code to where we're not ashamed to be on code, to where we're not ashamed that, well, if we get on code, these people are not going to have anything to do with us. Why is this such a problem for us to be on code with each other? It, can you answer that for me?
yes.
Mm,
So the first thing I would say is I think it's a great question. And what I like
absolutely.
when I answer questions, I like to try to provide a whole lot of information. I like to try to give a lot of context because I'm very clear that most of what we're dealing with is confusion. Even with a lot of our own personal frustrations, they generate from being confused about something that's taking place. We're trying to figure out what's taking place. But history kind of clarifies things. I would say this: we have not always been in a mindset of not being on code. That's relatively new. So you had the Deacons for Defense, they was on code. Marcus Garvey's and the Black Legions, they were on code. The African Blood Brotherhood, they were on code. And I can keep on going on and on and on. So that's history though. So we were not always off code. Being off code is relatively new. When I say relatively new, I am going to relegate it to the last 60 years, give or take. The last 60 years, give or take. 55 years, if you say, we became off code. And that's due to how we have been socialized. We have been socialized not to respect ourselves collectively to the degree that we concern ourselves with how others feel about us. Let me break that down. We are more concerned with how others feel and think about us as we are about how we should behave in relation to one another. I'm gonna break it on a little bit more. I'm more concerned with how the white person think about me rather than how you feel. So I'd rather lie to you to make the white person feel comfortable. I'd rather betray you to prove to the white person that I'm not against him or her. So if I'm a police person, a black police officer, I'd rather beat you down, throw you down, kick you, knock your teeth out to show my white partner that I'm not against him. So
Mm-hmm.
to be on code, one has to be socialized to be on code. That's why pre-European and Eurasian invasions in our traditional societies, we taught our young people how to be on code. We taught them that. Every single young person was reared to be on code. They saw a white person, they knew white people, they would run from them. They would run. The young ones would run. They literally would chase them down and kidnap them. We knew to run, the younger ones. We were on code. We knew to look out for one another. We knew to protect women. We knew to protect our children. We knew for our men to be on the forefront. We were on code. So we're not on code as we should be, because most of the institutions that many of us go through don't teach us to be on code. We're not taught to be on code. We're taught to be off code. I give an example. Even in our households, the first thing most of us hear is this: if somebody hits you, you hit their asses back. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can't trust them. You can't trust them, man. If he ain't got no car, no money, the things we hear about us at the earliest ages is negative. So how can we grow up and develop to be on code communally when our first institution doesn't introduce us to being on code?
Facts. Facts, Baba. That was powerful. Our first institution doesn't introduce us to being on code. And by first institution, Baba, are you saying your family? Or are you saying your first? There we go. Okay.
Family. In most cases, most of us are in families that does not focus on the cultivation of us as a people. And that's the truth. And that is the truth. So we are not taught to be on code. And in many of us inside some of those families, we hear negative things about us as a people. Now, I love my mother. I love my father. We're gonna still love what we got from them, because they can only do for us what they did for us.
They could only do what they knew how to do, Baba. And that's what I always said. You know how I didn't mean to cut your wisdom, Baba, but when I got older, I began to see my parents as human beings. When you're younger and your parents do stuff and you get angry, my mother shouldn't have said this, my father shouldn't have said this, and you're angry about certain things. And then you get older and you realize that your parents are products of their environment. And then when you start digging into the environment that cultivated, you realize why they function the way they function. You get what I'm saying? And so not giving anybody a pass if your parent violated or anything like that. But what I'm just saying is, Baba, I didn't humanize my parents. They were like, they couldn't do no wrong. And then when I got older, I realized Pops is just a human being like I am. Like, yes, that's my dad, but he's a human being just like I am. He does things just like I am. He's not infallible. He's a human being. He does things. My mom the same way. And so anyway, Baba, that's what I wanted to add to what you were saying. Our parents did the best they could with what they had and what they knew. And I did want to kind of just support what you were saying. But go ahead, Baba.
Yeah, but that's true. So you think about this. I hope the brother's still listening. So, like, the human being is a unique being. So there are 4 basic institutions that I like to identify. 4 basic institutions that influences the development of a human being. And the first institution is family. It's the first one. It's the family. Now, the institution that follows the family in the American setting for us is the public school. It's the second institution. The third institution is some type of religious institution. And then the fourth institution is the environment itself where we are at. So those 4 institutions, if those 4 institutions are not on code, then the being that they are influencing will not be on code. Right? So if my parent have already sent me off to public school because they feel like this school is going to educate me, but they didn't give me no instruction on how to be in this institution. They didn't tell me, like, listen, you're going in here because this is all we got to do, but nothing in there is for you, right? You be on guard. I'm not prepared to be in this institution, and we come under attack, and we are beat down. We are beat down and beat into submission in those institutions to get into alignment early on, right? And then you send me off to a religious institution. I am further beat down spiritually to get in alignment, right? So then I come home. I'm being reared raised in a house that's mimicking itself after a white structure. I'm hearing conversations of people who having aspirations to be white for the most part, And then I go out into an environment and I spend several hours running around with my friends, and we all are saying negative things about African people. You know, because they pumping, in my time period, they pumping these commercials about African people needing help and not having, and we got negative things to say. Every other joke is an African joke, right? So how can one develop being on code when the 4 basic institutions that influences our development doesn't teach us to be on code? That's where knowledge of self come in at. That's where the true institution building take place at. So the Kimoya Shule Africana, the Akaban House. You know, we building this Uhuru Academy. We building these other institutions where we can begin to teach our people to be on code, for the most part. Some of us are on code, but you're correct. A great many of us are not on code. And a great many of us are not on code because of those reasons that I just outlined.
Well, Baba, let me ask you a question. And I thank brother Kerman for his question, but I want to ask a question of my own. So what would you say about this? So you're saying African-centered education. Okay, you said it starts in the home, right? Being on code, it starts in the home. Well, what do you say to people who you got children, right? Who may attend an African-centered institution, but the family, like, so for example, it may be children around your way, right? Around the way in Baltimore, we recruit them for the Kimoyo Shule Africana weekend school. So they come, they're with you, they're with me, even with conscious ingenuity. They're with me, they're with you, with your school on the weekend. But then they go home, Baba, to households that don't enforce the concepts and principles that we teach them. It's going to be a lot of confusion, Baba, if the family, i.e. the mom and dad or grandma and grandma, aren't reinforcing what we're pouring into them. Am I making sense, Baba?
You make an excellent sense. In all my years of working with Black children, one of the fundamental struggles have always been having to undo what the family undone when you work with the child. However, one of the things that African-centered educators have come to recognize and realize, I'm gonna say, I guess you could say within the last 20 something years for the most part, is that in order for the institution itself to be thriving, it's the parents that you interview. See, it's the parents, like the Kimoyo Shule Africana, right? So I'm talking to parents already. I'm letting parents know, like, you are the one that's going to be interviewed, because I know what I can do with the child. But if you're not right, I'm not going to be able to impact the child in the way that I need to impact the child. And then I'm not going to be able to produce the proper results to show the effectiveness of what I can do. Because a parent can do one or two things. A parent can help amplify what you're doing if they're on point, or a parent can tear it down by not being on point. One or two things, right? They can tear it down, you know? So it's the parent. Now, in some instances, we may end up with some children who don't have the right parenting. That's going to be a struggle, because most of what you do will be undone when the child was put back into that environment. It will be undone. Now you get those rare children every now and then who are strong enough to withstand the injury that they will sustain in that family structure, and hold on to some of the principles that you have given them. But in most cases, in my experience, if that family ain't right, if those parents are not right, what you do with the child is undone.
Like you said, the parents have to be on the culture and the ideology of the home has to be aligned with that of the institution. And Baba, Kwame Nkrumah talks about that in his book. Talks about that in his book, Nation Building.
That's
and
right.
He was saying that if the culture and ideology aren't aligned, then here comes the confusion.
That's right. That's right.
You know.
So one of the things that I'm doing, I have a questionnaire that parents will have to answer. A basic question is, it's called a parental questionnaire. And one of the questions is this: What is your philosophy, worldview, or religion? I need to know how you think, how you see the world. You know what I'm saying? What's your concept of African-centered education? I need to know what your because once you give me your concept, I understand your expectations. Right? So I need a way to profile the parents. Because if it's the wrong parents, it's gonna damage the institution.
Absolutely.
It's going to damage the institution, and then that's going to reflect on me. And I know what I can produce. I know what me, my family can produce. I know what the people around me can produce. PLM have produced some of the greatest people in Baltimore City right there that's doing work. That's doing work are influenced directly by the work that PLM have done.
That's right.
Directly. I'm talking about transforming their whole behavior, their whole mindset. They come through our study class, our study course.
I bear witness.
I know what we can do. We can produce. We can produce. But if I got the right child with the wrong parents, it's going to be problematic.
Absolutely. Brother Kerman, what are your thoughts, brother?
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for enlightening me on that aspect of it. And I think when you said that about the parents undoing what you teach, that was a great thing to bring up, doctor, because that happens a lot. You can have your children around, like my child. If I'm teaching her one way, and she goes over to one of her friends' household, and they are like, "Well, okay, we really not like that over here. It's all kosher, you guys can do this, do that, we don't." So unless you have iron sharpening iron or steel or whatever they say, you know what I'm saying, where I'm coming from, but unless you have people reinforcing it and interviewing parents before they even started, man, that is such a great idea. So I really appreciate your answer and everything like that. Thank you very much, doctor, for having me on and letting me speak.
No problem, brother. And brother, I love that you added that piece that sometimes it's not even a misalignment, with the institution in the home. Sometimes it's right in the family. You get what I'm saying? I'm speaking just being transparent, just being in a co-parenting situation, you go back. And so one parent says one thing, the other parent says another thing. And then the child is like, which parent do I listen to? So like you said, it goes beyond just aligning culture and ideology with the home and the institution. We got to make sure that our families, right, like the culture and ideology is the same across the family. So if my child is with me and then my child goes to my mom's house, right, or to my father's house or to my auntie's house, we got to make sure that it's that whatever's being done in my home, it's also being reinforced, outside of the home, meaning even with other family members. So anyway, I do thank you for making that point, Brother Kerman, and thank you for coming on with your question, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Family, I'm dropping the link in the chat. The time is now 11:27. Baba, we hung a little bit. Yes. We hung a little bit, Baba. I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think, Baba, I was going to make it. I said, Baba, I don't know. I don't know, Baba. I said, I don't think I can make it. My bedtime is usually about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, Baba. But I've been hanging. I told you I've been showing off since school was out. So I've been showing off, Baba, showing off and showing out. All right. So I see Sister Tiffany, she put in the chat, make sure you vote. She keeps dropping the link. All of the moderators are dropping the link. They are saying vote, 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 family. I also dropped the link. Come on in. Come on in, family. It's 11:30. We're getting ready to shut down. If you all don't have a question. It's now almost 11:30. Baba, what time does the voting, I want to say the voting, what time does the voting end? I was going to say voting site, but it's a website. What time does the site close down, Baba?
11:59.
11:59. Sister Juju said, way past your bedtime, sis. She knows. Sister Juju knows. She knows the throwback discussions, Baba, that I used to have with the Almond Raw Squad. Those brothers would be building on Blog Talk. And it'll be, we'll get on at like 9 o'clock. They say, come on, Doc, you got to get on. And I'm like, all right. And I get on, Baba, and they just start hearing me breathe in the phone. Breathe in the phone, because I would just go to sleep on them. They say, Doc, Doc, Doc. And then I would wake up the next day and look at the phone and the brothers are gone, And so brother, Sister Juju, remember those days? Or I would go log, I would be on Zoom and then cut my camera off. I would go like this, Baba. And you already know when I cut the camera off and then I go like this, Baba, look,
Mhm.
mute myself, it's over. So I will fall asleep, wake up the next morning, and the Zoom app is still up. And so she knows, Sister Juju knows. She's laughing. Sister Juju knows. She put the dead face and she know I go to sleep in a heartbeat. But Baba, this is very important to me. And so that's why, despite my voice, I'm up here drinking tea, trying to hang. This is very important to me. You are doing tremendous work in the community. I bear witness to the lives that you transformed. And this is important for me that you get this $25,000 to help you continue the work. And I'm just saying, assist you with continue to work, because I know you're going to continue the
Yeah.
work anyway. But having
Regardless, yes.
$25,000, yeah, having 25,000, that's a nice cushion, Baba. That's a nice cushion to help and to assist you with doing the work. So, Baba, I'm telling you, I appreciate what you're doing. I love what you're doing, family, and thank you for hanging with me. We've kept on average about 60,000 people, Baba, and we've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes. The time is now 11:30. The voting site closes at 11:59. Baba, can we hang 29 more minutes? Do you got it in you?
No, I think we can. I think we can let everybody get up out here. I think we did what we came to do. Get the message. The only thing I would say is that I've been checking the votes, and I think that I know a lot of people say they was a vote. And just make sure you are also going to your email to validate the vote. Just make sure you go to your email to validate the vote. There's 3 steps. So once you click vote the first time and you put your email address in, you have to go to your email and validate the vote. If you do not validate the vote, then that vote does not count. So please go there.
All right. And so people who voted, you're saying, Baba, you didn't see like an increase. You think that some people aren't
Yeah,
validating it, or you did see an
I think
increase?
I think some people wasn't validating it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
family,
some
make
didn't.
sure. So family, make sure you validate. And what I'll do is I'll walk through the process one more time. I think I got a 4th email that I can think of. All right. So this is the process. So you come here, you click on the link, and Sister Juju have put the link in the chat. The moderators have put the link in the chat. So you click on the link, family, and you can do this with me. All right. You click vote now. Enter your email address. All right, Bob, I'm going to try to enter something that I know. Ed Enemy Productions at yahoo.com. All right. So once you enter your email, yep, brother. Yep. There you. Thank you, family. So Sister Juju said just validated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Brother Willie Lovelace said just validated it. Thank you, family. So I went here to vote now, typed in Ed Anime Productions at Yahoo. I hit the submit button, family. So then when you hit the submit button, it's going to say one more step for your vote to be counted. To help stop voting fraud, you will receive an email shortly with a link to verify your email address. Click on the link for your vote to count. So family, you literally have to enter your email address, hit the submit button, and wait until you receive an email from them in your inbox. So then you have to navigate. All right. You have to navigate to your inbox. And I'm going to Ed Anime Productions. You see right here where it says email verified voting. You find that, you click on it, you scroll here to validate vote. Okay. So I'm going to click on validate vote. And then a message pops up. Thank you. Your vote submission has been preliminarily accepted. Your vote will appear once it has passed final validation. All right. Final validation. So, family, if you don't see this message, this means they didn't receive your vote. So, you got to make sure you follow it through to get the thank you message where it says your vote submission has been preliminarily accepted. Your vote will appear once it has passed final validation. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. Brother Kerman said, "Thank you for the mini telethon." Brother Kerman, doesn't this remind you of back in the day when they used to have the telethons and want people to call in? They would have like celebrities. They would have it on TV and have celebrities answer the phone, taking people votes. So this is what this was reminiscent of. Thank you, Juju. Sister Juju said, "Vote and validate. Vote and validate." I like that, Sister Juju. Vote and validate. All right, family. So the time is now 11:34. Voting will close. Voting will close in 25 minutes. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the live stream, but I'm going to put the voting information in the description of the video, family. I see Sister Amina's on. I'm going to put the link in the description of the video. So that means when I end the broadcast, the video will be uploaded to YouTube and the link for him, for you to vote, will be in the description. Sister Amina, did you want to close us out with any last words, Queen?
Yes, I wanted to ask Baba IMHOTEP a question. If you have a parent, like you were just stating, you have one parent who's all gung ho, who may be who may be all for the Afrocentricity principles, and and gung ho for it, and then you have another parent who is not feeling that. How do you try to bridge that gap with
Beautiful
the
question.
student? Because I have that dynamic. Like, my husband is a British born Nigerian, but he's immensely colonized minded. I am far from that. I am far, 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 far from that. But I think it sends mixed messages, and which could be potentially ultimately harmful at the same time.
It is. Baba?
So
Oh,
if I'm understanding the question correctly, you have two parents and they're on two different pages themselves. And
Correct.
you have, so that's going to be truly
Problematic.
complicated and problematic
Yeah.
just because they don't have the same worldview. I think that in the interest of are the two, let me ask this question: are the two parents still together in a relationship?
Yes. Same household. Yes.
Same household. So I
Yes.
think that what it takes is this in those situations, because I've dealt with that before.
Mhm.
It's going to require some. See, we're supposed to families supposed to be entrenched within a community.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about just people that live next door to you. I'm
No.
talking about like a community, because the community becomes your buffer, it becomes
Right.
the insulator, and the community becomes the reinforcer of the ideals, the aspirations, and the principles that are taught within the family structure.
Which is how I grew up.
Okay, so in that case, that other individual would have to be introduced to people, preferably other men that's thinking African centered, that can show and prove the effectiveness of what it means to be African centered. Now that takes time, because
Wow.
that person would have to come into that thinking on his own. And as he come into that thinking, it makes it easy for the two to come together. So what I always tell families is try to find a community to plug into. It's like community
Mhm.
is very important.
But this is quickly what is astounding to me. Like, he grew up in the continent. Like, he was raised to a certain point in the UK, but at some point his parents moved back to Nigeria. So culturally, even then, like, I'm the one who introduced my children to Yoruba language, and try to get them into, he would not introduce, I said, as children, why don't you speak Yoruba to them? I'm speaking English and French and Spanish to my children. I'm like, this is the perfect time that they could be polyglots, that they can learn your culture. Just refuse to teach the culture. um, if I did not infuse some aspect of teaching about Africa and the beauty and the intrinsicness and the we're the original people. Our DNA is sub-Saharan African, ancient, Egyptian, ancient Ethiopian. I found that out just by self discovery through these testing. So I'm the one who's pushing for African centeredness and African principles and intrinsically African, whereas the other parent is diametrically opposed.
Mm.
That's my quandary right there.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to take patience and tolerance and a lot of delicacy to maneuver that. But what I do know is that as the child is developing and growing and being effective, oftentimes if the parent is really engaged in seeing his or her child grow and develop, usually the child can be a part of the process of bringing the other parent into that mindset.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Queen, for your question. That was beautiful. I see we have my brother, and he my brother's going to get on me because every time he gets in the chat, I butcher his name. I butcher his name. I know the beginning, brother. I know when I see E5. I know when I see E5. I know what I'm looking at. But go ahead, brother. State your full name for me.
Ifak Bamila Ojeke Hinde Olusheyi.
Beautiful. I'm not going to be able to repeat you, but Alafia I need to you, brother. Peace and love to you, brother. How are you?
Ekale, Baba,
We,
Ati Ye, Ekale.
where you all calling in from? Are you in the States or are you on
Yeah,
the continent?
Florida.
Where are you?
We here in Temple, Florida.
Oh, you in Florida?
Sir.
All right, all right,
We
all
here in
right.
Temple, Florida. Florida. We here representing Florida, you know.
Love it, love it, love it. And representing in the culture. I see you. I see my brother representing the culture. So what are your comments or questions for Baba and I? What did you just want to kind of come on and build?
Oh.
Can you hear me, brother? They said I can hear you, but I can't hear them now. But I read their lips. They said I can hear you. Yeah, I can't hear you, brother. I can see you. Oh, you hit the mute button. Oh, I still can't hear you. Okay, so I guess they're going to come out and come back in. I love the brothers. I love the brothers. Yeah, so DNR Multimedia and Talent Agency. He said, Dr. Maat asked a great question about distractions. Maybe we should address it like we do brainwash people, rescue from cults, sign them up, re-indoctrinize them in a boot camp-like environment. Isn't that something we were talking about, Bobby IMHOTEP? So here we go. All right, you all are back. Can you hear us?
Hey, Nick. Y'all can hear us?
Yes, yes, yes. Benny. That means yes. That's Beeni. I know a little bit. I know a little bit. You know, that you all say bow, but it says baoni, right?
Bauni.
Baoni. Or somebody say showa dada, eh?
Showa Dada.
Showa dada. Ah, no, I just know a little bit. I know a little bit. I know a little bit. And so Sister Juju said, are you based in Tampa? She says she's in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, we in Temple, Florida.
Yep. They said, okay, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
We
So how
first rally down here. We trying to connect with Baba and Motep. Bring a first rally down here.
Let's do it.
Dang,
Let's do it.
We can most definitely do that. And I'm Ifa Benga or JK Hende or Luce Makenda. We Beijis. We twins.
I see the twins.
they are twins? I do see it now. I do see it. I do see it. Identical.
That's we came on because I want to speak a little bit on, as African people, African indigenous people, and, going back to our roots, honoring our Egungun, and I'm gonna use the word Egungun or Egun, which represent, the ancestors, those that came before us.
That's right. Ashe.
where we go wrong at is we stop venerating our egungun. We literally became the battery pack for other cultures because we venerating their ancestors. We going to their schools, using their names. We going to their culture, their religion, using their currency, venerating their ancestors. Celebrating their holidays, venerating their egungun. And that's one of the things that they stripped from us. They switched our gods around. They got us praising towards their egungun instead of looking at it towards our family, mama, baba, granddad, great grandma, learning our roots, learning about who we are, where we come from. My mom used to always tell her, you can't know where you're going unless you know where you came from. That was something that was installed as almost growing up. And it's a Yoruba proverb that says, if you cannot go back 7 generations, you don't know who you are. We don't know who we are over here, and that's what's been stripped from us.
Teach, brothers.
We don't go back and study our history. And study your history, you got to study your history as a race, and you also got to study your history as the family. But you got to see what went wrong in your family and how can you make things better. What is your goal to make things better? Venerating the ancestors, venerating, calling on the names of those that came before you, setting up an ancestor altar. This is where our power comes from. I wanna give y'all a story. It's a story. Alafin Shango Kabiesi Baba. It was an Odu, if I'm not mistaken, Ogbe Sa, where Oba Shango, he wanted to become the most powerful and magical Alafin, which in English they'll say king, but it's more like chief, the one that's leading the people, Oba. And so he wanted to become the most powerful Alafin. And so he went to the oracle, which is Ifa. And he went to Ifa, and Ifa said, in order for you to become the most powerful and magical king, you got to bring out your egungun. And so in Yoruba, it's something we do where we bring out egungun, where people masquerade around in it's a masquerade where the spirit of your ancestors get invoked, and you bring it down from the heavens, and that spirit is walking amongst earth. King. And so when Shango went to go bring out his egungun, he became the most powerful and magical Oba Alafin. He was known to breathe smoke and fire from out of his nose. He was the most magical, all through the power of bringing out his egungun. That's where we lack at. No egungun veneration. It's so much trauma going on in our community because the egunguns aren't elevated. And it's another Odu, and I believe it's in the Odu Ifa Ogbe Sa, when it talks about the Orishas came down to earth when earth was being made, and it needed to be stabilized. And so the Orishas came down to earth, but the Orishas couldn't avail. None of them were able to stabilize the earth. So they went back to Orun, which in English it'll be called heaven, but that's a dumbed down version of what Orun actually means. It's the sword. Right. It's the sword. There's no such thing as there's no such thing as a heaven. You got to understand the term of what afterlife is in your native tongue, in an African tongue, to actually understand, to look from our perspective, our worldview. But the Orishas went back to Orun, and the El Boras came down. That's another name for the Egungun. And they landed in a Igbale, which is a grove, a sacred grove for the ancestors. And they put on the costume, hit the masquerade, hit the Egungus he talking about, and they went out to each 4 corners of the earth and stabilized it. And so that Odu also goes to say that your ancestors rid the community of unstabilized forces, which is rape, which is incest, which is Yorugus, which is mass incarceration, which is miseducation. Your Egungus rid that from the community. So we must also go back to that. It starts with venerating our Egungun. Like you said, going back 7 generations and connected with our Isheshe, your tradition. I
shall. Powerful. They love you. The chat is like, oh my gosh, teach.
And what Baba just said, it's a song to go with that too. It's a Orisha be a gungun kosi. 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 Be a gungun kosi. Be a gungun kosi. Which means the Orishas and the Egungus are incomparable. because there's things that the Orishas can do, but this that the ancestors can't do, and this thing that the ancestors can do, but the Orishas can't do. And if you understand the Yoruba myth, the the perspective of Yoruba, the ancestors sit to the left side of Olodumare, and the Orisha sit to the right side of Olodumare. And if you know, in tradition, the left side is the most sacred side. So your ancestors have the ear to Olodumare. It's through your bloodline. See, any race, anybody, black, white, purple, anything, you can tap into the Orisha forces, the Orisha universal forces, going to the river, going to the hill, going to the mountains, going to the rain. But can't nobody tap into your bloodline. That's where your power come from.
And brothers, send me an email. I'm going to throw my email address in the chat because I want to bring you on to have a build on E5. Hold on. I'm putting everything that you're talking about. I want to have a build, bring you brothers on, and we sit and we talk about the importance of returning back to the traditions of our ancestors. And we'll really break down Yoruba and Ifa. And so I put my email address in the chat. So make sure you respond to my email. Send me an email, and I'm going to respond to your email address, and then we can coordinate something. But I do know you came on here because you wanted to hook up with Baba IMHOTEP. Baba, they said, yeah, I'm here, brother. I'm ready to connect. Baba, they said, let's do the race first rally. So how did they get in contact, Baba, with you to make it happen?
Well, we already in conversations and contact because they purchased the manhood book.
Okay, cool.
They got the manhood book so that we know how to connect. So this is what I would say. So inbox me at your earliest convenience, and I'm gonna make myself available, and we're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna figure it all out.
All right.
At your earliest convenience, contact me. I'll make myself available, and we can figure it out, make it happen.
All right. Sir, Bow, I do. I do. Ekushe to both of y'all. Ekushe me like, I salute you, greet you. I salute your work. That's how we build. And this is the only way we can Ubuntu. I sure.
As he said, Ubuntu.
Yes. Hey, yes. This is what I like. I teach Ubuntu a lot, but this is a unique perspective that I offer to Ubuntu. Ubuntu essentially could break down to mean this here. The capacity to recognize the divinity within another African. And because I recognize the divinity within you, I will never do anything against you, because to do anything against you is to do it against myself.
Ashe.
So Ubuntu is about recognizing the essentiality in the other. Because if I place a high value on you, then that's going to be reciprocated. And if we each are placing a high value on one another, we have strong relations. And that's what we have to get back to.
Man, Ubuntu, the village mindset.
Yes.
That's right. The village mindset. Ashe. So, brothers, you have my email address. It's in the chat. Did you screenshot it? Because I know you're on your phone.
Yeah, I got, because I don't know if it's going to turn me off if I go to the chat. So when
when you go off, you'll just go back through the live and grab it.
My head go right here.
Okay, yeah, I want you to make sure.
Okay, I got it right there.
Yes. So make sure you shoot me an email. I'll be looking out for it, brother. I do appreciate the two of you coming on. It was beautiful, just listening to you, and people in the chat, they was like, just let the information flow. Like, it's just what you all came on and brought. I just love your energy, brothers. So please connect with me and let's do this again, my brothers. Okay. All right.
And I'm looking I'm expecting to hear from y'all.
Yes, sir. You gonna hear from yeah, and you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Anybody want to? We got a business. We want African business where we sell, everything from statues, incense, sages, natural toothpaste, all that. On Instagram is ibeji_ile, which is IBEJI_ILE. And then we even on Facebook, it was just Ibeji Ile. And that just means like the house of the twin.
The temples of the twin.
Yeah.
All right, so hold on. You gotta tell me that again. Hold on. I got my phone. Hold on. All right, spell it out for me.
Ibeji is IBEJI_ILE.
Okay, hold up. Underscore ILE. Ile.
The temples of the twin.
And it'll be the same on Facebook, except
okay, so it says, does it say Omo?
Yeah, Omo Ibeji, which means the children of Ibeji. You know, the Ibejis are the Orishas, the twin Orishas in the Yoruba cosmology. But that's also that duality.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah. I'm Omo. When I got my reading, I came out. I thought I was Omo Oya. They said no, you're Omo Obatala. You know, they said you're not Omo Oya. You're Omo Obatala. That happened twice. Two different Babas told me that. Baba say cool, and another Baba, I think he's from Florida or Georgia. They said no, you're not Omo Oya. You're Omo Obatala.
We got to bring y'all down into a festival.
Let's do it. So I just started following you on Instagram. Make sure you follow me back. All right.
All right.
Odabo.
Odabo.
That was beautiful, Baba. That was beautiful. The time is now 11:55. Baba, we actually didn't plan on staying on here until well, we don't know. Well, we did. Initially, we did speak it. And we did speak it, Baba. My afoshe is strong. You know, afoshe is when you speak and something happens. My afoshe is strong, Baba. And so we did put it out there, Baba, let's do a marathon and let's stay up until midnight. And you was like, all right. And then today we said, we might stay on an hour or two, but we end up staying on until 11:56. Family, the voting is going to close in less than 3 minutes. The time is now 11:56, family. Voting is closing in less than 3 minutes. I'm getting ready to drop the link in the chat. Family, please, family, please, click the link in the chat. You see that I voted. Bob, what I vote? 3 times already?
Yep.
Come on, family. Do this with Dr. Maat again. All right. Do it with Dr. Maat again, family. I'm going to share my screen. I'm sharing my screen, family. I'm clicking vote now. Enter my email address. Let me go here. Enter in my company's email address. Hit the submit button, family. This is my 4th time voting. So you enter you click the link, enter your email address. Then once you enter your email address, you hit the submit button. After you submit, your email address, you'll get this message that says, thank you for voting. One more step for your vote to be counted. To help stop voting fraud, you will receive an email shortly with a link to verify your email address. Click on the link for your vote to count. All right. Onk Life Products said one more vote to get to 2,600. All right, so now let me verify my vote. I'm going to share my screen. I got to log in first. I'm not automatically logged into this one. All right, so here we go. You see, family, I have a lot of emails in this one. I don't read it. I told you I'm horrible with my email, but I try to get back to people. All right, so family, I logged into my email account. There's an email there with the subject email verify voting. Okay. I click validate vote. The only way he's going to receive your vote is if you navigate to your email account and you actually validate your vote. That's why Sister Juju in the chat said validate and vote. All right, family. So I clicked on validate. Once you validate your vote, you're going to see this message. It says your vote submission has been preliminarily accepted. Your vote will appear once it has passed final validation. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Baba, do you have any closing words for the listening audience? Family, the time is now 11:59. Get your vote in. Get your vote in. The time is now 11:59, and my clock actually just changed to 12 midnight.
Yes.
All right. So it's over, Baba. So, Baba, do you have any closing words for the listening audience?
Yes, I would say I want to thank everyone. We started tonight at 2,492 votes, and we ended at 2606.
Okay, that wasn't bad. 100 people, over 100 people
yes,
did vote.
Did vote. So that was great. So my closing remarks would be that we have to focus extremely hard on redoing ourselves, because we have been dipped, bathed, showered, and washed in the right way. So our thinking, our methodologies, our philosophies, our outlooks, our perspectives, our taste, our desires have all been infected. And all of these things has to be cleansed, because taste can be manipulated. Desires can be manipulated, right?
Absolutely.
We think these things originate inside of us. No, all of that can be manipulated if we're not very careful. So the work that we have to do is a work of Sankofa. Now, Sankofa is a psychological process that allows us to not only to return, but to transform who we are. And we have to be in the process of transforming ourselves so that we can become better men and women to do the work for our people, to push us forward.
Absolutely. Ashe. Ashe. Look, young warrior Ryan said that we were dropping interviews this week, discussions like mixtapes, Bob. Every other day we going live. And so family, tomorrow, I did plan on going live, but I just need to take a break. I need to take a break. And so I'm not going to go live on Sunday, but I will be back. I'm sorry, Saturday. Oh my goodness. I'm not going to go live on Saturday, which is today technically, right? Because it's 12:02. But I will be live on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're reading the book. Booker T. Washington in Africa is actually a book. I have books behind me. So it's a book by Dr. Tareen Wright. Okay. Booker T. Washington. Yes. Baba, I love the book so far. I've only read the preface in chapter 1, but the sister's research is thorough. And the sister's research literally changed my perception of Booker T. Washington. And her book also allowed me to see why I thought of him the way I did. And primarily a lot of the perceptions of Booker T. Washington, that the ongoing perception of Booker T. Washington, or the dominant perception of Booker T. Washington, is that he was an Uncle Tom, he was a sellout, he was an accommodationist, and all sorts of stuff. Well, this sister took her time. She read 15 volumes of his handwritten notes, okay? 15 volumes. Each volume was 300 pages. So this sister read 4,500 pages of his handwritten notes. And she even said that wasn't even all of it, okay? So she combed through his notes only to find out what Tuskegee University really was, and what the Tuskegee machine really was, what was the Tuskegee model. And she concluded that he should be mentioned, Booker T. Washington should be mentioned in the pantheon of Pan-Africanness. That's what she argues in her book. And so some of the elders I'm connected to, they don't like it. They upset about it. But I asked them, did you read the book? They said no. Okay. So anyway, we're reading the book, family, and we're discussing the book every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So even if you don't have the book, still tune in. All right. Get the book as soon as you can. It's not that many pages, like a thin book, about 100 pages. Okay. So it's not a Dr. Amos Wilson book. We was reading Blueprint for Black Power for like almost a year. Okay. Trying to get through Blueprint for Black Power, which was 868 pages. But we've read every single page, and we met every single Sunday. Shout out to Sister Alima. We met every single Sunday to discuss Blueprint for Black Power, and we didn't miss a Sunday for 8 straight months. Okay. And so I was really proud, brother, that I finished that, because I never read an 868 page book in my life until I read that. Anything over about 3 or 4 was too much for me. Okay. Because I have a lot on my plate, but 868 pages was a lot, but I really wanted to read it, and I'm glad that I did. So family, join me back here on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Read Book Club to prepare for Sunday's discussion. Just listen to the first discussion that we had the Sunday before last, okay? Listen to that discussion. That'll prepare you for Sunday, and meet me back here at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Baba, thank you so much for all that you do. Baba, I will continue to support you, and I look forward. Baba, can I tell the people about you joining the platform consistently?
Yes.
Baba family will be joining the platform consistently. Baba, the people love us together. I can't eat. Brother Craig Samuel, he left a beautiful message. He called us the dynamic duo. And so a lot of people have really been reaching out, and they said, I just love when you and Baba come on together. I love the energy. I love the information. I learn a lot. So family, at your request, Baba will be here. He's coming on. So we're going to be building maybe once a week, twice a week. All right, family. And so he's going to be here. And send us an email if there's a certain topic that you want us to address. Shoot Baba an email, or reach out to him on Facebook or Instagram. Shoot me an email, or reach out to me on Facebook and Instagram, and tell us, hey, this is something we want you all to address, family, and we'll make sure that we definitely work it in. All right. Peace and Black power.